My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Jakey Boy and I are going to break down the entire UFC Tampa fight card, giving you our picks, predictions, bets, and DraftKings Plays. Jacob is cracking up at himself. He just posted a picture to Instagram that he finds absolutely
I haven't posted
hilarious.
it yet, but it is funny. I'm gonna post this to Instagram, and I already told Angelo, but the caption is gonna be "Got a new neck tattoo, but don't tell on me." Because I do have a new neck tattoo over here. I mean, it's growing crazy, but this is the picture. Like, I'm super serious about it, and you can see the tiny ass neck tattoo right there. But don't tell on me.
Well, our little secret's out as well. We have an app. It's been chilling for a little bit. We've had some people beta testing. Some people found it on their own sneakily, and we are now ready to tell the world. We have an app. Go into your iPhone. Open up the App Store, search We Want Picks, boom, app, ready to go. And don't start crying that we don't have one for Android yet. We had one for Android, and it just, the membership wasn't syncing well. It was kind of a sloppy mess, so we pulled it from the Android store. The iPhone app works absolutely flawlessly. Everybody needs to thank Josh, the web guy. This was his whole project. He did all of it. He built it, the icons, everything. So the app is officially out. It's great. We're going to get push notifications going, all the things. Download the app. It costs nothing.
Damn it!
What?
I mean, total 99 cents on there. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you're not a premium member.
You know, a little, maybe like it's 99 as low as they go.
Are there like 5-cent apps? Probably not. They're not penny stocks.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I don't think anybody pays to download apps anymore. I don't even think that's a thing that exists anymore.
You get premium version of apps all the time. I have a Star Watcher app that
I thought you download it for free and then you have to upgrade. You know what I mean? Like, for $4,000 a month.
You know what? I think you're right on that one.
There it is. Bang. We Want Picks. Search for it in the App Store. It has literally everything the website has, but it's in the app. And if for some reason you don't have an iPhone and you're on Android, well, just use your mobile browser and you'll still have a great experience on the web. You can use the app to see the bets. And the bets last week, Slapperino, Jakey Boy, and I crushed UFC 310. Absolutely crushed UFC 310. I almost swept the board. And honestly, I probably should have, because Cody Durden won that first round, lost the next two. That plus 3.5 bet should have hit. But he did get dotted up quite a bit on the feet.
I'm literally just laughing at myself once again. That shit's so funny to me. I don't know why.
There you go.
But don't tell on me.
All right. Well, while Jacob enjoys himself, why don't you enjoy what we have to offer? This UFC 310 success was not unique. Neither is the fact of the safety parlay hit at UFC 310. I've hit 8 of the last 9. The only reason I haven't hit 9 in a row is because that stupid-ass UFC Macau fight card where that woman decided to die 1 minute before the over 2.5 hit. Outside of that, it has been the absolute beacon of stability. And you can unlock not only the safety parlay and all of Jacob's bets and my bets and everything else that we do right now for UFC Tampa and UFC Vegas 101 right after the jump. Here's a look at the last 14 cards. Jacob, you said you're up like 15 the last 20. I only have my stuff here because this is what I use for my video.
15 of the last 20.
Jakey Boy's up 15 the last 20. Big Ange is up 12 of the last 14 with 14 units of net profit and a 25% ROI. It's not a coincidence. It's not an accident. You do well one weekend. That's a coincidence. You get your doors blown off all year long and then have one good card. That's a coincidence.
Ejectocito, cuz. I think it says cuh. Ejectocito, cuh.
Is that Tyrese in fucking Fast and Furious?
Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, you get the point. We absolutely dominate at all of this, and I don't know how, but we just continue to do it. We do our research, we find our spots, we make our bets, but we also give you tools. It's not just copy-paste bets. It's also a full suite of tools, insight, and information.
That Cody Durden bet, I thought, watching that fight back and, really diving in, seeing that plus 150, plus 160 number, I really, even watching it now, I don't regret that bet. I think that's a great value play. And I think if you continue to make value plays, even though they lose week after week after week, I think eventually it's going to pay off. Because even though you're betting like somebody at plus 300 and they lose, but they look good, that's a good bet. That's a good bet for a value play. It's not whether the fighter wins, it's whether they almost won, and then that determines whether it's a good play, not whether you win or lose money.
If you guys aren't picking up, that is sarcasm. Jacob doesn't actually believe that. That is the coping mechanisms that lesser people are using to justify their absolute catastrophe of a 2024 before the people who don't understand
Just fucking
sarcasm.
pick winners and bet winners.
I mean, yeah, that's
By
just
the way, real quick.
Oh, yeah. It's been quick. Did you just try to Rizzler? Yeah.
Notice anything different?
No. The glasses? The non-prescription glasses?
I mean, I know you've seen it. I know Chad's seen it. You know what I mean?
Did you trim your beard?
I had it, thank you for noticing, Angelo. I had it a professionally lined up and trimmed up today at the barber for the first time. I mean, it's looking...
I can really
this
tell.
This camera ain't doing it justice. This thing is short, baby. Got the haircut, feeling good, Got the neck tattoos, the hand tattoos, the beard lined up, the hair lined up. Tampa this weekend. I'm feeling pretty confident, man.
Jacob's ready for you guys. Jacob will be at the event.
I will be at the event. But watch
Jacob.
out now. I'll have a
Jacob
little aura
will be
bubble
there.
around me.
Yeah, sure.
Don't get too close.
And thank God, because that's the only way you're going to see him. You're definitely not going to see him over anybody. So look for a little puff of aura at people's shoulder lines.
Hey, get in blood. Suck my cock.
There it is. What doesn't suck is premium. We have the single greatest research tool in this space, period, end of story. So, of course, we have the copy-paste bets that are doing quite well, but we also have the tools, the insight, the information that can help you find your own spots, better spots even. The data analyzer does exactly that. When we go into this nice little holiday break, the data analyzer will be preloaded with fights clean through 2025, and you can use it to get ahead of the lines. Use it to find your spots. Use it to build out your parlays this early. UFC 311 has already announced a bunch of fights. UFC Vegas 101 is already loaded. UFC 312 has announced some fights. I don't know what book you use, but the one we use has all of those ready to go. You're also going to get access to the DraftKings Optimizer. You're going to click a few buttons and it's going to spit out up to 150 DraftKings lineups for you. And it is preloaded with the best ownership projections in the game. You're going to get the line movement tracker, opening odds, current odds, win probability, line movement for every fighter on every card. You're going to get the prop hunter.
Oh, belly. Oh, belly.
Curated set of data.
It's the last card of the year. Come on. You know what I mean?
Specifically designed to help you find prop bets. And then, of course, we filmed a vlog for UFC 310. I am being told with empty promises that it will be ready immediately. I was told to be ready this morning. That didn't happen. So we'll see. We will see. But that vlog will be out. And in the vlog, we open some mail. We do some things. This shirt
Oh my
is
God,
Joshua Van's shirt. I didn't wear it on Saturday because I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. But I am wearing it now to respect our premium member, Philip Bacon, who sent this shirt. He designed it. It is for Josh Van. It says born in Burma, made in America. He sent it. So I'm wearing it. We support our people. If you have a small business, if there's something you want us to read or do, we want picks. P.O. Box 406, Prosper, Texas, 75078. And welcome, Black Omis, to the YouTube membership. We appreciate you. Jakey boy, any words before the peeps, before we break down this 14 fight card?
I just want to thank you guys. We had 7 million views over, was it this weekend or last weekend or something like that?
We crossed 7 million in our live stream one week ago.
This is the last breakdown of the year for us. Angelo will be uploading his breakdowns, but live breakdown. I just want to say thank you for 2024. It's been a lot of fun. And I can't thank you guys enough.
Awesome. Do I read this super chat or do I just let it go?
Guy's a weird dude.
We're going to leave it. I'm not putting that on the screen. Thank you for the $2.
He asks that in Discord like a few times a day. And then he also keeps tagging me, asking me why can't I post Aylin Perez nude pictures in here?
Yeah, I don't know. Copyright laws? That might be the reason. Let's go ahead and break down this card. Opening up the UFC Tampa fight card, we have Josefine Knutsson taking on Piera
What now?
Piera Rodriguez. Josefine Knutsson is undefeated, 8-0 in her career. She is looking for her third UFC win. Piera Rodriguez, 9-2 in her career, 3-2 in her last 5, and she is coming off the bizarre DQ headbutt over Ariane Carnelozzi. Josefine Knutsson is a very accomplished kickboxer. She uses good forward pressure. She has nice combinations. She'll overwhelm you with that pressure and those combinations. The volume is impressive on her way in, and then even on her way out, she's throwing strikes, usually ending those exchanges with kicks. She can grapple, but it's mostly cage control. If she somehow ends up on top, she'll have some good pressure. Takedown defense, however, is not very good, and that constant forward pressure can open her up to be taken down. She's taking on Piera Rodriguez. Nasty striker. Very real finishing ability. She wants to plot forward. She'll let her hands fly. She knows what she's doing. She does sort of wing punches from her hips at times and put everything behind them, but she's moving forward with purpose. Pretty good takedown defense at 66%. Defensively sound on the ground and plenty of takedown offense as well. She has 13 takedowns in 5 fights. The issue, however, is control. She gets a little fast and loose, can fly off the top. I mentioned she's coming off that DQ loss to Ariane Carnelozzi in the second round, where she basically was frustrated she couldn't pass the guard and just lodged headbutts down. And yeah, was DQ'd for it. And it's an interesting situation because I'm going to pick Josefine Knutsson. I think the striking gap is pretty wide here, but I think Piera Rodriguez could potentially come forward, get some takedowns, make something happen. I am looking to place a plus 3.5 bet on Piera Rodriguez. That wasn't available earlier today. As soon as it is available, I will jump on it. She's plus 210. I imagine it's not going to be, plus 100, but we might get a nice minus 125. And the way that math works is all I'm going to need is Piera Rodriguez to win a single round. First of all, she could probably win this fight outright. She can certainly win a single round with the wrestling. I am going to pick Josefine, though. I do just think that range, that length, the striking could potentially have Piera second, third round getting frustrated, not be able to get those takedowns. What do you think, Jakey Boomba-Lots?
Yeah, this is an interesting fight for me because I've picked against both of these females with my lock of the week before. I had Julia against Nutsack. I had Ariane Carnelozzi against Piera. So, and when I pick against somebody, when I'm making the lock of the week, half of it is picking a fighter, and sometimes it's picking against a certain fighter. And I've picked against both these girls, so that tells you my respect level for both of them as a fighter. But when it comes down to what I think is going to be a close, who is the bigger dog in the fight, Piera has shown that she is very aggressive when she fights, and she got penalized and DQ'd because of it. And if I got to choose two girls, and one of them is going to be the more aggressive girl, I'm going to take the more aggressive girl most of the time. That is going to be Piera. Nutsack in that fight was, I have no idea. She is due for bad scorecard karma because I have no idea how she won that fight versus my lock of the week, Julia. They gave her the first round. The first round ended with her fully mounted, eating elbows for 20 seconds, and if there was 10 more seconds in that round, she would have fucking got finished, and they gave her that first round. I saw what Julia could do, who is also kind of a bad bitch, kind of bullied Nutsack when it actually mattered, and I think Piera could do the same. Obviously, if the fight goes longer, I think those takedowns are going to be a little bit tougher, but I think she can get those takedowns. She's pretty nasty, so I'm going with the dog here.
Yeah, it's not a terrible pick. That's why I like the plus 3.5, a little more conservative than you are. I think Josefine Knutsson's range can be a bit of a problem, but she doesn't defend takedowns very well. And Piera comes forward and bullies and works takedowns. So that could absolutely be the difference here. It's going to be an interesting main card or fight card opener because we have a very wide DraftKings fantasy line. I am not touching Josefine at $8,800. What the hell are you laughing at?
That Veronica Vaughn is one piece of hate.
Got it on. No, you didn't. No, I didn't. But imagine. Either way, not spend that $8,800 in DraftKings Fantasy. I will be looking for that plus 3.5 bet. And if you are a premium member, keep an eye out for it. And if you're not a premium member, well, I don't know what you're waiting for. It's freaking $10 for an entire month. And that month is going to include multiple events worth of bets and picks. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Bet Slam with $8.99 New Zealand, whatever they use for currency. I prefer the way Jacob says it. Wink, you are a married man. Bet Sam, get it together. Tighten it up. What if your wife saw that? What if your wife saw that?
I feel it, yeah, tighten up. I feel it, tighten up. Isn't that the song?
It's not Tighten Up, and I can't remember. I don't know what it is. No, Light It Up?
No.
It is something up. Oh, man. What is it?
Is it Pump It Up? Pump It Up.
Pump It Up. Yeah, it is. It's
Is it Pump It Up?
It's probably Pump. It's got to be Pump.
The jam, pump it up.
Now y'all pumping. Okay. Next up at UFC Tampa, we got Davey Grant taking on Ramon Taveras.
Strike
I will say,
it up.
Strike it up. No, it's not.
Strike
Is
it
it?
up. I feel it, yeah. Strike it up.
Okay.
I feel it.
I would, if you are in Tampa watching these fights, I would keep an eye on Jacob during this fight and make sure that Jacob and Davey Grant can both be seen at the same time. And if they cannot, then Davey Grant is Jacob.
That's not even close.
Inside that cage.
That looks
hey,
nothing
you got
like
some.
me. I look much more like
nothing
Ramon.
like you.
I look
that
much
looks
more like
nothing
Ramon.
like
I just got my beard lined up. Me and Ramon basically have the same lineup, right?
Sure.
He actually
Same
has
hair
red
color.
hair.
Same hair
he
color.
actually has red hair.
Yeah.
For, I think it's dyed or whatever. Obviously, I do not have red hair, and I think I look much more like Ramon. He's got neck tattoos. Hey, 1, 2. You know what I mean? Neck tattoos. So that's my
Let's
brother
just make
Ramon.
sure. We're going to keep an eye and see if Jacob and Davey Grant can be spotted at the same time. And this is another interesting fight because we have the relatively untested Ramon Taveras taking on a pretty tried and true Davey Grant. Davey Grant 13-7 in his career, 2-3 in his last 5. He is coming back after a full year away. Ramon Taveras 10-2 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off a successful UFC debut. Davey Grant's a busy striker, right? He'll use some kicks. He'll try to keep that range. He'll use punches for damage. There is a little bit of power hidden in there. A lot of people forget that he did start his UFC career as a grappler. Then he had a little success with his hands and primarily has turned into a volume striker. He got comfortable with those hands, developed some real power over time. He's got 12 fights in the UFC, so obviously he's got some good fight IQ and plenty of experience. Even when he gets dropped, he stays composed. He's able to work through it. He is coming off that loss, though, to Daniel Marcos, where it was clear he was just not the better fighter, but he had a ton of forward pressure. He's taking on Ramon Taveras, a powerful striker. He keeps his hands nice and low to protect from takedowns, and then he will counter-strike his way in. He's got incredible power, very fast hands. He stands southpaw and will launch his power with that left with incredible speed. He does a great job mixing shots up to the body, to the head. Mixing shots up to the body, to the head. Also pumping a nice jab. Takedown defense is just okay. He's got a decent get-up game if he is taken down. And I mentioned he's coming off a successful UFC debut. That was a close fight, but he threw a ton of combination. We did see some power. And here's the reality of this fight. Davey Grant was not good when he was 28. He's not going to be good at 38. But every time I go to pull the trigger on a Ramon Taveras bet, I am like, he's pretty untested. That last fight was closer than it should have been. And Davey Grant is... he's not great, but he is tough. He is tried and true, and he's definitely fought the better level of competition. So Ramon is the pick, and I might pump myself into a bet because these odds are fantastic if you're on the Ramon side. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, Ramon is a guy that...
Here's a guy. I watch sports. That's a football reference. Sports. Unpause. I unpaused. We're just going to wait to see how long Jacob can do this weird bit. Okay.
And then I think that's how he pulls it off.
Hey, it glitched. Can you go ahead and break that down for us again?
You didn't hear me?
No, it glitched.
Oh. Yeah, Ramon's one of those guys that was getting a lot of shit for his regional resume because it's not very good. But regardless of that resume, you can tell he's got the skills. There's some people that have fought shit regional people, and you can tell, like, oh, they're just kind of squeaking by because they're saying, this guy is a very, very high-level boxer. Now, he's not really the full, complete mixed martial artist. If you're looking for a more complete mixed martial artist, it's going to be Davey Grant. But at 38, starting to turn that little slope a little bit. And this fight, I believe it is going to be a little bit more boxing than wrestling. As long as Ramon can stay off his back, I do believe he's going to have the boxing advantage at a high level against Davey Grant. You mentioned the last fight versus Ceedy. He beat a guy that knocked him out previously. I mean, as an underdog, Steve said the fight was closer than it should have been. I mean, the guy literally knocked his ass out last time they fought, and then it was a close fight, but he ended up holding his own and landing the more impactful shots. He was my pick. I bet him, even though, I mean, this is kind of probably how highly I speak of Ramon, and I am a guy that I love fucking beautiful boxers. They're literally, that's like art to me. Like when I see somebody just in that flow state, ripping body shots and just a nice clean boxer, I get fucking orgasmic to that shit. And Ramon's one of those guys that even when I was watching film against Ceedy and I saw him got knocked out, I'm like, he's fucking still clean, man. And I think that he is going to be the cleaner striker. And I think that's what it comes down to in this fight. He's a better striker. I think he can keep it standing with his jab, keep the distance, footwork, all that stuff. And win this fight. So, I mean, I bet him, and I like him in this. He's a fucking really good boxer, man.
Yeah, I didn't pull the trigger on the bet, but I was hovering over it. I literally would just psych myself out. I would go look at Davey's resume and be like, God damn, he has fought some good people. And that would freak me out. But he is getting older. His chin can get touched, and I agree with you. Ramon is the better striker. $8,000 in DraftKings Fantasy to $8,200. You trust Ramon to get a finish here, or you just think he's going to be cleaner and just take over?
I think he can. Davey Grant is known to be a tough guy. I think he's been submitted a bunch of times. I can't remember if he's been TKO'd or not, but he can take some damage. But I mean, Ramon, he does fucking hit hard, and he's fucking Duval. He's some Duval, man.
What is that? I'm supposed to know what that is? Is that some fucking podunk Midwest town that Jacob knows about? Duval. I don't know. Nothing's coming up. Am I supposed to know? Does everybody else know what the hell that is? Is that some podunk Midwest bullshit that Jacob knows about that I don't? Maybe. Fuck him. Nerd. Become a premium member. WeWantPicks.com. It's $10 for an entire month. Just go to any recap video I've done over the last however long, and you're just going to see wins, constant wins, always winning. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Everybody knows what Duval is except me?
If you know anything about anything.
I don't know much. Next up, at UFC Tampa, we got Miranda Maverick taking on Jamey-Lyn Horth. Miranda Maverick, 14-5 in her career. 4-1 in her last 5. She is on a nice 3-fight win streak. She's taking on Jamey-Lyn Horth, a plus 390 underdog. 7-1 in her career. 4-1 in her last 5. She's coming off her second split decision in a row. And this is a pretty straightforward breakdown for me. Miranda Maverick, she's a pressure fighter. She's got good takedowns, good activity. She's very strong, and she uses that strength well. She's not particularly fast. She's not wildly athletic, but she works her ass off as she comes forward. She's very smart, and she fights with those brains, with that strength, and to the absolute max of her abilities. Meaning you're not going to catch a fight where she's lacking. You're not going to catch a fight where she didn't just show up. The fights that she's lost were just to better people, and that will happen. And then anytime she fought somebody that's not better, she's got a good game plan, and she takes over those fights. She is coming off that decision win over Deone Barbosa, where she had a handful of takedowns and 8 minutes of control. She's taking on Jamey-Lyn Horth. Jamey-Lyn Horth is a striker. She's got good accuracy and good power. She moves pretty well. She'll mix up different kickboxing techniques while pressuring High fight IQ on her side as well, as far as the striking is concerned. She has a good game plan. Her takedown defense, however, is not great. She'll work her way back up, but when she's taken down somewhat easily. She's coming off that close win over Ivana Petrovic, where she did sneak in a nice little armbar, and there were signs of hope, but it was just clear that her grappling is just not there. And for that reason, I got to go Miranda Maverick, right? I think she's going to come forward, be stronger, bully against the cage, bully to the ground, avoid any Hail Mary submissions, and just get takedown after takedown and have all the control. There's some people in this sport that I just happen to pick pretty well. Brian Battle's one of them, even though he was pretty controversial last week, and Miranda Maverick is another. Picked against her in her losses, picked her in her wins. So let's hope to ride that train here. I'm picking Miranda Maverick. I think it's pretty straightforward. The odds obviously reflect that, but sometimes it really is just 1 + 1 = 2. What do you think, Jakey Boombaloo?
I got pickle. I got pickle. I got pickle. Hey. You got a pickle?
I do. Pickle. I bought her pickles 1 full year ago today for the Christmas vlog. I ate her pickles, and they were delicious. And they're still here. Now they're probably rancid, so I kept them. They're in my office. Rancid. That jar is going to be sealed very tightly.
You just have random jars of pickles on your...
Well, everything in my office means something. I did an office tour in one of the vlogs. Every single thing means something. It's here for a reason, and that was one of them.
A jar of pickles?
A jar of pickles from a fighter that won us a bunch of money. Very straightforward. I support. She supported our bets.
Put a clean jar.
Nope.
And it's the same.
It's not the same. It's not the same. So I supported her.
And there's no thought of.
No. I did think maybe I should pour this out and put food coloring and water in there. I said no. Wasn't doing it.
I want the pickles. You said I want to keep those pickles.
I said those pickles are staying on the shelf. All 3 flavors.
If those start turning, where do we cut
pickled.
it off?
They're pickled. Nothing changed. They're pickled. Things last forever. They're pickled.
And you're adamant about that.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a challenge in a year or two. We'll open them up and go see what happens. Who do you think wins this fight?
Do you agree or disagree with me, Angelo, in this fight? And I think you will agree that if Miranda wins this fight, she probably dominates the fight, right? She gets the takedown, she gets the control.
It's not close if she wins.
If she is getting the takedown, she's going to dominate this fight. If she doesn't get the takedowns, I think she probably still wins the fight. It's probably definitely a little bit closer, but she's tough enough. She is, moved forward enough, and we've seen Jamey-Lyn Horth in a situation where she's losing because there's not enough volume on her side. So even if she can't get the takedowns, if this was a kickboxing match, I think she can still win this fight. But if she's getting the takedowns, which I think she is going to get the takedowns against a girl like Jamey-Lyn Horth, I think she's just going to dominate this fight. So instead of playing the minus 600 or minus 500 price tag, minus 3.5 is sitting at minus 140 as of right now.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you're going to play her and you think she's going to win, you might as well just give it up. Just give up some money, I guess, if it's a close fight and it's not a 30-27. But I think there's even a finishing upside with her. I think she's that much better on the ground than Jamey-Lyn Horth. And Jamey-Lyn Horth is trying to get back to her feet. That's when people get submitted and they make mistakes. So I got that minus 3.5, minus 140, and I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, I think it's a solid bet. I don't know if there's the finish there, but I certainly agree that it could be a very clear 30-27.
If she gets her down, I don't think she's going anywhere.
I agree. She's going nowhere. I completely agree. No, Miranda's got great control. She uses her strength.
I'm a Miranda hater.
You are, yeah. No, it should be pretty. I mean, the odds.
To this day.
$9,400 in DraftKings Fantasy. That's probably good, honestly, because of the takedowns, because of the control. What?
I just laughed at something in the chat, and I didn't want to spit it out, so I stopped it, and both my ears popped. He said, Angelo, how many nights a week does a man of your stature get laid?
Well, I'm married, so almost never. No.
I literally popped both my ears.
I'm married to an attractive woman, no less. David Ant. $9,400 in DraftKings Fantasy. I think that's good. Now, her last fight, she only had 2 takedowns against Diony Barboza, but she had 8 minutes of control time. 8. This could be somewhat similar, but I do think I do think the $9,400 will be worth it because I think she'll get a few more takedowns. Jamey-Lyn Horth does try to scramble back to her feet, so I think we're good there. If you do want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the tools, see what the DraftKings Optimizer has to say about this fight and any other fights. See what fights and bets we're breaking down over the hump after the holidays. You can get all that right now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's only $10 for an entire month.
Duval.
Couple of super chats and comments. Abdi said, I could have swore Josh Thompson said Miranda Maverick was pregnant.
Oh, my God.
She can't be pregnant because you take a pregnancy test at weigh-ins, and if you are pregnant, you obviously are not allowed to fight. So can't fight pregnant. If she's pregnant, fight's canceled. Then Philip Bacon said the McDonald's employee who snitched didn't even get the reward. That's funny. Why would they not get the reward?
What are you talking about?
This is for the dude that shot the dude.
Oh, the sniper.
He was at a McDonald's and they snitched on him. You didn't hear about all this? The McDonald's employee called and said, hey, this is the guy from the news. And because society seems to have rallied behind the guy,
They're calling them snitches.
It got review. That McDonald's got review bombed. There's rats all over this place. They got review bombed.
He was just in McDonald's eating, and they were like, "Oh my God, that's the guy."
He was just eating his meal, and I guess somebody said it looked like him, whatever. So they called and they scooped him up, and now he had everything in his bag. Some people say it's suspicious. He had like a manifesto. He had everything.
He had everything just ready to go.
Yeah, ready to go.
Where was it? How far away was it?
I think it was Pennsylvania, so not that far. But yeah, what's funny is my TikTok, two things are happening on my TikTok and Instagram algorithm right now that are pretty funny. One is in relation to this. I don't want to say certain things. I don't know what will trigger YouTube to be like, that's... One is the healthcare CEO obviously didn't make it. And now I'm seeing people do TikToks of like both sides of that being like CEOs that are safe. One of them is the Costco CEO because the $1.50 hot dog. The Arizona iced tea CEO because he said it's going to stay 99 cents. He's not going to raise that price. And then I see ones that are like CEOs. Oh, they won't say which ones are not safe. They'll be like, does anybody know where the Ticketmaster CEO is? Like stuff like that. And then have you seen the side-by-side comparison of the Rockefeller Center in New York City tree versus the London Christmas tree?
You know the largest Christmas tree in the world? Do you know where it's at?
Probably some fucking dumb fuck Midwest town.
Downtown Indianapolis, largest Christmas tree in the world.
Nailed that. Anyway, I guess London did their big Christmas tree lighting, and it's just it's like 6 string lights laying down. And people in the comments are very, very worked up. It's tradition. You guys don't understand. And then the other people are like, yeah, I get the tree is free, but like, does that mean it has to be ugly as shit? It's pretty funny to watch all that stuff.
I didn't hear anything you said the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was quite the rant.
I'm
We do have a $49.99 super chat. Malcolm X said, I appreciate you guys. I fuck with y'all. Could you please answer my original question? I hope next year is a good one. We're not answering that original question. We appreciate the super chat. And if next year is even 1/5 of what this year was, then it will be spectacular. 2024 was a great year for the boys. We did a phenomenal job this year. Regardless of what happens this weekend, we had a phenomenal year. And it's crazy because if you're new here and we introduced you to betting on fights, that's all you know is the success.
He was wearing the same clothes too.
He didn't. He didn't. Somebody said he went up. The problem is you don't know what's real and what isn't real anymore. But somebody said he asked the McDonald's employee to call. Like, hey, I'm here. Call them. Tell them. So who knows? But maybe that's why they didn't get the reward. He technically turned himself in. I don't know. Either way, some of you have been around the space, have tried to bet on this in the past and with mixed success. You guys have seen the utter failure that most people are here. So you appreciate how insane our streak is. The new people won't have that same appreciation, but they have been feasting off the success. WeWantPicks.com. Click remember at the top. Next up, at UFC Tampa, we've got Miles Johns taking on Felipe Lima. Miles Johns, 15-2 in his career, 3-1-1 in his last 5. But he's really 4-1 in his last 5, and he's on a nice little win streak. He's taking on Felipe Lima, 13-1 in his career, 5-0 in his last 5. He's coming off a successful UFC debut. If you remember, Miles John was supposed to fight just a little while ago in November against Cody Garbrandt, but that fight was scrapped at the last minute, so here he is.
I think I saw that Garbrandt got vertigo. That's what happened with that.
Is that what happened?
I think so.
That sucks. Miles Johns is a good, strong wrestler. He's got heavy hands, explosive speed. He seems to have a sort of love-hate relationship with that wrestling. You'll see fights where he's just all in, nonstop wrestling, using it. Other fights where he doesn't even attempt. He's just sitting on right hands and bombing away. And that's what happens with some of these wrestlers. They find a little power in their hands, and that's who they want to be. But Miles Johns seems to be heading back in the right direction, mixing things up well. He is coming off that win over Douglas Silva de Andrade, where he actually did not initiate the wrestling, but that dude is just built like a little tank. He's probably pretty hard to take down. He's taking on Felipe Lima. This guy is a bantamweight prospect. This fight is not at bantamweight. It is at featherweight. This is his second fight at featherweight, so he's probably sticking around here for a little while. Well-rounded guy, creative striking, solid grappling. He'll throw spinning jump kicks. He'll shoot doubles. He'll pick people up over his head, slam them down. He does a good job transitioning between striking and grappling. He keeps his opponents on their toes. And he doesn't have a lot of power, but he does set things up with incredible pace, and he can break a lot of people. He is coming off that short notice UFC debut where he was 1-1 going into the third round, was able to get it to the ground, and was able to find that submission. And this is an interesting fight because the entire world seems to be on Felipe Lima. And I get it. He's a big favorite here. He's probably the more talented of the two. He's a young kid, flashy, has the skills. He's got a little bit of dog in him. The record is phenomenal as well. But I think a lot of that is just dismissing Miles Johns. And Miles can be a little inconsistent, and his cardio is not great. But when he's on, and the power's there, and the wrestling's there, Miles Johns can make some things happen. Are you Miles right now? Is that what that face is? Miles Johns can make some things happen. He's certainly the veteran. He's certainly fought the higher level of competition. And I think Miles Johns can have a little bit of success here. Felipe is definitely the more talented of two, but if Miles decides to actually wrestle, I think he can win. I'm going to pick Miles Johns, but here's your speech that I gave last week. Picks and bets are not the same thing, and all picks are not created equal. I'm not as confident in Miles Johns as I am in Miranda Maverick, for example, but I do think veteran savvy, high-level wrestling could sneak something out. What do you think? Weird duck lip boy.
You were saying Davey Grant, but that's my Brazilian brother, Felipe Lima. Me and Felipe are the. If I was Brazilian, that's exactly what I would. That's exactly what I look like. Look,
dude, what?
I look exactly like Felipe Lima.
Sure. After this fight,
that was
who
pretty
do you
good.
Think wins?
Listen. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to take credit for something that I shouldn't take credit for, but I know my truth, and I know what happened in that arena, in that situation, and I know exactly, what I provided. The reason that Miles Johns beat Cody Gibson was because I was front row, right? Because I was all over in this guy's ear because he was slowing down after the first round. I said, Miles, you gotta go, baby. We got this, Miles. He's trying to wrestle. Who's the wrestler, Miles? You're the I was in this dude's ear through the second and third rounds, willing him to the victory versus Cody Gibson because this guy can do one thing, and if it doesn't really work, actually, he's probably got two things, right? He's got the big overhand right, that he's trying to land. So he's got the big power on the overhand right. And then he wants to just kind of bully people against the fence, almost like the Mario Batista, because he's not really a control wrestler. And he doesn't really have a submission threat. He just wants to grab people, get them on the ground. If you start to get back up, he's going to chain wrestle you back to the ground over and over. And in this fight, he's in trouble, man. I'm very high on Felipe Lima. I've said the two bantamweight prospects, which I agree. I think Felipe is probably going to stay at featherweight. He looked good at featherweight. I mean, he was a 4 days notice against a very physical, big name of featherweight as it is. I mean, Nemov was probably 165 pounds in there. And Felipe Lima weathered the storm of an early takedown and did what he needed to do to win that fight. He's the real deal. I said that him and Gene Matsumoto were the two biggest bantamweight prospects. It might be Felipe Lima at 145 now. I mean, he's going to have the major striking advantage, and he showed against Nemov. He knows how to sprawl. He knows how to grapple. He knows the offensive grapple as well. you worry a little bit in that name-off fight. He was probably in his guard a little bit too long, but understood after that, I'm not going to get taken down, and I'm going to offensive wrestle after that. So I think he's the real deal, and Miles Jones, to me, is just a very solid, tough fighter that's probably going to be moving forward, but he slows down. I don't think he's going to get the takedowns. I think he's going to get outstruck on the feet and possibly finished in the second or the third once he starts slowing down, because that dude slows down. He's not a bitch, and he's going to fucking keep going, but he definitely gets a little bit tired and slows down.
I got to support Dallas's own. I'm on the Miles John side here.
He actually liked my video today, my Adrian Yanez highlight video today, and I was like, oh, well, this breakdown's not going to be as fun.
Don't watch the other videos. Anyway, I'll be rooting for him. He's a tried and true vet here at this point. I do think he's.
I was sitting next to his family too, and they were like the nicest people. They were going crazy too. I was going crazy with them. We all celebrated together. It was a lot of fun. But I was losing my mind, dude. Wow, you're the wrestler, Miles. You're the wrestler, Miles. Come on.
Yeah, I think I get the love for Felipe Lima. He's certainly the more dynamic of the two, but I just think he's not old. But I'm going to say old man strength and veteran savvy might be the difference here. Plus, he's the 45-pounder. He's strong, big, thick.
Who?
Juicy.
Miles is a bantamweight.
No, I get it, but he's of the two of them.
He's going to be much smaller.
I don't think he's going to be smaller. He's thicker.
Gonna be much smaller.
Well, here we go.
He's a 135.
So he's an inch. Dude. He's an inch taller, and he's going to be thicker.
I guarantee Felipe.
And Miles has bounced around before. He hasn't always been at 135.
Felipe is probably going to be taller. He's going to look bigger in there.
We will find out. And if you want to find out what all the picks and the bets are, what the artificial intelligence has to say, you can check it all out now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It is only $10 for an entire month's worth of access. One full month, only $10. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. $4.99 from Pierce. If Covington wins this Saturday and looks how he did in his previous fights, I don't know what that little symbol is. Prior to Leon, do you think he could beat both Ian and Shavkat? So you're saying if this was the Kobe Covington that fought Kamaru Usman twice, he would definitely beat Ian Gary, without a question. He'd beat Ian Gary. I don't know about Shavkat. I know Shavkat didn't look amazing this past weekend, but he also had a torn, I believe, MCL or some shit. Did you see that?
He's a bitch.
Now he is, but he wasn't always.
He's a bitch.
There you go. Next up, at UFC Tampa, we got Sean Woodson taking on Fernando Padilla. Sean Woodson, 12-1 in his career, 4-0-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that win over Alex Caceres, taking on Fernando Padilla, 16-5 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that bounce-back win. Wait, coming off a bounce-back win over a UFC debut. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's coming off a bounce-back win, and it was over Luis Paello that stepped up on short notice in a UFC debut. That's right. I got it. I got there. Daddy figured it out. Sean Woodson, long as hell. Just ridiculously, insanely long. He's a boxer. He had an actual boxing career before he moved over to MMA, and he manages distance really well. One of the very few fighters who actually knows how to use their reach, and that's because of that professional boxing background. Given how good his hands are, you're going to try to take him down, but he does a really good job, again, being long, widening his legs like as far as you possibly can so you can't wrap your arms around, and it's hard to take him down. He's coming off that, what I think was a pretty one-sided win over Alex Caceres, where he controlled the striking. He's taking on Fernando Padilla. He's also a long, rangy guy, but instead of using that reach, he likes to fight in the pocket. He wants to keep things dirty. He's an aggressive striker who'll plot forward and get that pocket-style boxing going. He likes to work in the clinch, where he'll fire up knees, and then if you get him to the ground, he'll use that length to wrap you up and work various submissions. He likes to come forward. He'll take risks, but he doesn't have any wrestling at all. So he can't control if it goes to the ground or not. You have to initiate the takedowns. You disagree with that statement?
I mean, it's going to be hard to believe, but I was laughing again at that picture with that caption.
You just keep laughing at your own picture from 25 minutes ago, 44 minutes ago. Holy shit. Anyway, Fernando Padilla, both of these guys are long and lean. Both of them want to make it dirty. Jacob, here, listen to my, let me tell let me tell my scripted joke here. In the 90s, are you ready? In the 90s, I was rooting for Littlefoot and the other long necks. But this weekend, I'll be rooting for long legs. And I think Sean runs away with it. You get the joke? You get the joke? It's about the movie The Land Before Time. They were called long necks, the brontosauruses. You get it? Because Fernando Padilla, look. You get it?
People are going to say he looks like an alpaca. I disagree.
Somebody said that a few years ago. And this is just, he doesn't really look like, this is just an unfortunate picture the UFC insists on using. He commented on one of our breakdown videos with this and he was like, wow, okay. Like just something like that.
I think he literally said, I don't look like an alpaca.
Oh, yeah, something like that. He commented on it like, what the fuck, guys? Like, Jesus Christ. But who do you think wins?
Yeah, I'll be honest. First of all, I got to mention the neck tattoo of Sean Woodson. You know, I'm also, neck tattoo.
You know how big of a fucking needle they'd have to do a Fernando Padilla neck tattoo? A week and a half he'd be in that chair. He would get bed sores waiting for them to finish up that neck tattoo. They'd have to put the blood clot things on his legs to keep the blood flowing. He'd be in that chair so long. My bad. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, shit.
Fernando, we're just fucking around. I'm sorry.
I honestly was a Fernando hater, and I'll be honest, too. I forgot that I was at his last fight. I literally was at the fight 13 feet from it, watching him strangle that guy out, and I completely forgot I was at that fight. I was watching the fight. I was like, wait a second, I was at this fight. Apex is a lot of fun. But I was kind of a doubter and a hater of his style, and I didn't think he was really that dude going into that fight, even against a short notice guy. I think I even bet against him, and then he fucking basically knocked the guy out and then choked him out, and I was like, oh shit, maybe this guy Fernando is the real deal, because he saw him in a couple fights where he just wasn't doing enough, and now all of a sudden he's like this killer, and he's already a tough son of a bitch. I love my Mexicans, and these Mexicans he's like the epitome of a tough fucking son of a bitch. And in this fight, from what I saw from Padilla in his last couple fights, a little bit more dynamic in the striking, not just resorting to the boxing, because if he stands and just boxes with Sean Woodson, he's going to lose. He's going to get out-jabbed. He's going to get out-striked. It's just a nice, clean boxing match in the middle. But this guy has been really good with his kicks, his teep kicks, the kicks up the middle, active with his kicks, the high kicks, the punching as well. I think he's the more dynamic striker of the two. I don't think Sean Woodson's going to be able to default to the wrestling like he has been lately for whatever reason. And I just think he kind of gets out volume. This is probably going to be a close fight, a back-and-forth fight. I think the finishing upside is going to be on the Fernando Padilla side, because we've seen Sean Woodson get rocked a couple times. He definitely can get hit, and he rolls with stuff, and he's a long guy. He knows what he's doing in there, but he's been getting chinned, and Padilla kind of hits hard, and he gets real sneaky with those elbows too. And when you're Sean Woodson, and you're not used to somebody with the same length as you, because not very many people have the same length, and all of a sudden this guy's a lot closer than you think, those elbows can really get in there where you've been a long guy, you're not used to an elbow coming at you, especially when you know how to keep that range. And when somebody is right there in your face and they throw in those elbows, I think the finishing upside's on Fernando, and I think that even in a close fight, he's going to be doing more, looking visually like he's doing more. Instead of just a jab, 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 it's a big kick, it's a big punch, it's a big elbow. That's going to win him the rounds in the judges' scorecard. So I'm kind of pretty high on Fernando here for whatever reason, but I think he gets it done.
Yeah, listen, I pick Sean Woodson because I think Fernando is going to try to come in, close the distance, and I think Sean's range might be a little too good. But I agree with you. If Fernando can make it ugly and get in the pocket and make it dirty and gritty, it's going to be a problem for Sean for sure. For sure.
Yeah, you can't. There's no backup. I mentioned that with Ian Gary. One of my biggest things about picking against Ian Gary was there was no plan B. There was no plan B. And once he started getting touched like 2 or 3 times by Shavkat, he couldn't go to the wrestling, couldn't go to the grappling. Obviously, he did, hit that the sweep or whatever, and was on his back. And if he knew how to lock in a rear naked choke,
that was Shavkat tried to shuck the head, and his hand slipped over, so Ian took his back.
Yeah, well, whatever it was. I mean, he still wasn't able to do it. But there was no plan B.
Got there.
But my point is, that's why he lost the fight, because once he was getting kind of outstruck a little bit, there was nothing he could really do. Sean Woodson, against a guy like Padilla, I don't think he's going to have a plan B. So if he gets backed up and that jab isn't keeping Padilla off of him, I think he's kind of fucked.
Yeah, I don't. It should be a close fight. This is another fight where I was hovering over, like, betting on Sean Woodson. I'm just like, my mouse was hovering, like, should I bet here? And I was like, I'm going to leave it alone. Fernando Padilla got some dog in him. Let me just leave that alone and see what happens. I mean, Fernando Padilla plus 3.5. If that drops, sometimes they don't do it with the close odds. That might not be the worst bet in the world either, because maybe he can grit out one round, stay tough.
I have a good
Sean
bet
Woodson.
on Padilla.
There you go. If you want to check out Jacob's bet on Fernando Padilla, you can do so now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's only $10 for an entire month. And you're not only going to get UFC Tampa. Not only are there fights on the other side of the jump within a month, you're also going to get all the future bets. We got fights broken down for UFC 311, UFC 312, and some other matchups as well. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top.
They fucking refunded my Amanda Hebos bet. The best bet of the fucking century. $1,000 on Amanda Hebos plus 130. They reset the fucking odds on that. So they fucking canceled the goddamn bet.
Well, that stinks. What doesn't stink is $1.99 from Pierce. Jacob, I'll bet you $100 Kobe wins. Bet openly his ass.
Why don't you, hey, Pierce, why don't you just fucking bet the book and you can make even more if he wins? I mean, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah, because he's a 3-1 dog.
Yeah, just fucking bet the book and there you go. You can make even more instead of just betting me.
Well, if you want to bet him, send Jacob a bet openly. Peer-to-peer betting, better odds. Next up, at UFC Tampa, we have Joel Alvarez taking on Drakkar Klose. Joel Alvarez, 21-3 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that knockout win over Elves Brenner. He's taking on Drakkar Klose, 15-2 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He is on a nice 4-fight win streak. Drakkar Klose is a very good wrestler. He has developed striking over time. He was a state champion wrestler, and he used to wrestle pretty heavily. That was his offensive MMA technique to go. But he has some issues defending takedowns. He's more of an offensive wrestler than a defensive wrestler. He does have some solid boxing. He's got some good power, some good speed. Overall, well-rounded guy who can go to distance or fight to a finish. He's coming off that decision win over Joaquim Silva, where he was dropped, but he managed to survive a guillotine choke by launching himself backwards, very similarly to Michael Chandler. Taking on Joel Alvarez. This guy is crazy tall for this division at 6'3". He uses that length and reach really well. He's got good kicks, okay boxing, very, very good grappling. The grappling is interesting because he has not gotten a single takedown in the UFC, not one. And he's only defended like 2, and they were shitty ones against Elves Brenner. Everybody else managed to take him down. But of the 5 people who did take him down, he submitted 4 of them. So not only is he dangerous on the feet, he is dangerous on the ground, and it's sort of the in-between that he needs to work on. He is coming up that TKO win over Elves Brenner, where the striking in general looked absolutely fantastic, but he ended up getting it done officially with the knees. I'm a known Joel hater. Years ago, if you've been watching this show we've only been here for about 3 years, but I think it was 2 years ago when Joel Alvarez fought Arman Sarukian. I picked Arman. Arman was a minus 225 favorite. Like, it was not a controversial pick, but for some reason, people went crazy. The vocal comment section, everybody was losing their minds. And I remember I watched that fight on my phone in the back of a minivan. And I just watched Arman take him down, just maul this dude, bloody, disgusting man. Didn't fight for a full year. And from that point forward, I carried the hate with me. And he didn't do anything wrong. I just hated him based on how the community came to support him. And by supporting him, they were trashing me. And I carried that hate with me. And I continued to be like, he's not that good. But I can't deny it anymore. He's freaking good. His hands looked unbelievable in his last fight. We knew his ground game was spectacular. So I got to pick Joel Alvarez to win here. The only thing I will say is this is a similar fight to the Miles John breakdown where I was like, people are not giving Miles Johns enough credit. People are not giving Drakkar Klose enough credit. He is a good fighter. I don't know why these odds are so wide. It's almost implying that like Drakkar sucks and he doesn't deserve to be in here. Yeah, he didn't look great against a 40-year-old Joaquim Silva, but he got it done. He continues to manage to get fights done. Good wrestling, good striking. I'm going to pick Joel Alvarez because he has looked absolutely spectacular, but Drakkar Klose is a dog, and he's got some very good actual fight skills in him. And I think these odds might be a little wide. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I disagree. I do like Drakkar Klose. He's a Michigan man. I'm a big Michigan Wolverine guy. I've been to the dunes up there in beautiful, Kalamazoo, Michigan. So I do like.
I laughed at how you said Kalamazoo. Wasn't that the fucking point? Saying it's so damn weird. Wasn't that what you wanted?
It did make me feel good. Yeah.
Okay, so why'd I get a look?
So I like Drakkar Klose as a person. He's a good wrestler, good control wrestler, can get takedowns, does have power in his hands. But I think the UFC knew what they were doing with this matchup. I think they like Joel Alvarez as an entertaining fighter. He's got the look. He's got the record. He's got the finishes on the feet and on the ground. I think they see something here in this matchup because you got Drakkar Klose, who, outside of landing a big right hand, I don't know how he wins the fight. I don't know if he's got the arm in, type of situation where he can posture up and land elbows. And honestly, I think it was that cut more than anything. I think that Joel was still kind of there, but that cut was in the optics of it all, of him just getting elbowed. It was not a good situation with all the blood. But I just don't see Drakkar Klose having that type of control to be able to do something like that to Joel Alvarez. So even if he gets the takedowns, I think he's going to be in danger. Like Joel Alvarez has proven time and time again that even if you take him down, he's a very dangerous guy. But I think it's going to be Joel Alvarez pressuring with the big Muay Thai striking, the elbows getting in close, and Drakkar Klose has been doing the chicken dance before. So I think his chin is not quite where it needs to be against a dangerous guy like Joel Alvarez, and he's either going to get clubbed and subbed or he might just get TKO'd.
It's certainly possible. I did pick Joel Alvarez. I just feel like Drakkar Klose is good. I mean, I think he's a good fighter, so I don't know why he's not getting as much love, and especially we've seen Joel Alvarez not really be able to defend takedowns. Obviously, Drakkar is not going to be safe if he gets a takedown. So, I think that's why myself and others are on the Joel Alvarez side. But this could be a competitive fight. $9,300 in DraftKings Fantasy makes a whole lot of sense if you think Joel Alvarez is going to get the finish. He is a finisher. He certainly finds his spots both on the feet and on the ground. So if you think that's the way it's going to go, $9,300 might make quite a bit of sense.
He's a 6'3" Charles Oliveira is what he is. He doesn't care if he gets taken down because he's so dangerous. So he just comes forward crazy with that Muay Thai pressure right in your face, elbows against the fence. And the only difference is now, especially now these days, the Charles will offensive wrestle. You won't see Joel shooting takedowns. He just pressures you enough, and then once you shoot the takedown, he's okay. Let's play jiu-jitsu now.
There we go. If you do want to check out all the picks, the bets, the tools, the round line leans, and more, only $10 for an entire month. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, that data analyzer, that is loaded through events clean through 2025. Future events. Do your research now. Don't wait for the lines to move. Take a break. Come back. Wonder why the hell somebody's a minus 400 favorite when we got him at minus 125. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. We do have a $9.99 from Pierce. Pierce just throwing donations left and right. I am up $3K the past 8 weeks. I know what's up, but I'm just that confident in my favorite fighter. No disrespect, day. You guys are the best MMA guys to listen to, and I'm a DraftKings type guy. DraftKings type of guy. He's talking about trying to bet Jacob straight up for Colby Covington. So listen, Pierce, go to Bet Openly. Create your account, throw your $100 on Colby Covington, and then send it over. $100. Jacob, he spent $10 to double down on his $100 bet with you for Colby Covington. Pierce is very confident. Very confident. Next up, at UFC Tampa, we got Michael Johnson taking on Ottman Azaitar. Michael Johnson, tried and true veteran, 22-19 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He is alternating wins and losses, taking on Ottman Azaitar, 13-2 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5, but he is looking for his first win in 4 years. Michael Johnson, I mentioned, tried and true vet. This guy has been around forever. Incredibly tough competition slate. If you run through his fight history, you might be like, 19 losses. This guy must suck. And then you look, he fought Beneil Dariush when he was good. Nate Diaz when he was good. Khabib when he was good. Justin Gaethje when he was good. He's fought everybody. And he's still here, getting it done, coming off of a win. He's a talented striker. He doesn't have a ton of power, but he does have some nice footwork. He's got a positive striking differential, the occasional takedown. His takedown defense is impressive at 81%, and considering who he has fought, that is a wild number. He's old in human years. He's even older in fight years, but he did just manage to get a win back in February, taking on Ottman Azaitar. Powerful striker. He wants chaos. He wants to come forward, bomb away, get inside that pocket. If you come forward, he will plant his feet and he will fire away. If you're not coming to him, he's coming to you. He's always looking to set something up. He's got 4 fights in the UFC, 2 wins, 2 losses. He has not seen a second round yet. And you would typically want to get him to the ground, somebody like that on the feet. But he does have some pretty solid takedown defense. And he is coming off the unfortunate first-round KO loss to Francisco Prado. Michael Johnson, a little under 2 years ago, had one of the worst knockouts we've seen. Just like stiff, bad knockout. And now he's 38 years old. No younger. And now he's almost a 2-1 favorite. At one point this week, he was even bigger than a 2-1 favorite. A lot of people's most confident fighter on this card, and I get it. Skill-wise, technique-wise, Michael Johnson's the better fighter here. Michael Johnson has the better career. I mean, everything other than raw power definitely tips the scale for Michael Johnson. I'm going to pick him to win for those reasons. But Ottman Azaitar is still dangerous, and I can't bet on a minus 170 favorite who's 38 years old and he's been knocked unconscious, stiff, more than one time. Can't do it. Michael Johnson is the pick, though. Sometimes you just save your money. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I'm going with the dog here just because I can't trust Michael Johnson. Although Ottman has been knocked out in back-to-back fights. That last fight, a little bit of an early stoppage there. He did get dropped by Prado. He was getting ground and pounded. But Chris Tylonely, I'm pretty sure it's Chris Tylonely, literally said, "Show me you're there." And Ottman goes like this, and then went back to defending strikes, and then Chris stopped the fight. Ottman's like, "I literally showed you that I was there. Like, what the fuck did you want me to do?" So he did get knocked down, but he was a little bit still there. It wasn't a complete knockout. He got knocked out by Frevola. But I think in that Frevola fight, you could tell he was, and the commentary kind of talked about it as well, he couldn't really find his timing early. And if you're not finding your timing early with Frevola in your face, I mean, he can land heavy shot. It's when you're outboxed is when Frevola struggles. But I think the layoff, he was rusty in that fight. Against Prado, I thought he looked like a pretty good striker. He was landing some good, clean strikes that I think if he lands those same combinations, he could put down a guy like Michael Johnson. I know Michael Johnson's the better overall fighter, and if he wins this fight, it's not going to surprise me because, as we see, he's beat some unbelievable people, and he's lost a lot of good people. It always seems like he wins when he should win and loses when he should lose, and this honestly is probably one he should win, but I'm going Ottman here. I think he's showed more than people give him respect for in that Prado fight, and if they stand and bang, which I think they probably will at some point, I think Ottman's going to land the shot, but it is what it is. I'm not betting it.
Yeah, so we have different picks, but ultimately came to the same conclusion. Like, Michael Johnson's the better fighter. I think he wins because he's the better fighter. We're both very worried about his chin and his age and can't possibly spend any money on it. And that's ultimately how this goes. We have 14 fights on this card, and we have plenty of bets. $8,700 for Michael Johnson. That's a fortune in DraftKings fantasy money. That's a fortune. But if Ottman loses, well, history has told us he's going to get finished. So it's a tricky fight in general. I'm probably just going to step away from it entirely. But if you feel confident one way or another, if you are on the side of like Michael Johnson definitely smokes here, then get it. Minus 170, $8,700 in DraftKings fantasy for a guy that you're that confident in, go for it. If you want to check out the bets and the picks, go for that. WeWantPicks.com, click become a member at the top, freaking $10, and you're going to be cruising. Enjoy the holidays. Let us do the research for you. Let us put up the picks and the bets. WeWantPicks.com, click become a member. $20 super chat from The Prophet. You guys are printing money for the premium members, and I am here for it. The Prophet, thank you very much. Not only is this a very generous super chat, you also used it to promote premium. I mean, what a guy. What a guy. They built him in a lab. You know what else they built in a lab? I don't know how to segue that, actually. I'll give you $50. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. No, wrong promo. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Use the link. Sign up with any one of our affiliate partners. We'll send you $50. It's just that simple. It's affiliate marketing. You use the link. You sign up. You make a deposit. They'll pay us like, hey, thanks for the customer. And then I'll slice off some of that money and I'll give it right back to you. Just got to use the link and then sign up from there. WeWantPicks.com/bets. I was really hoping I could have made that transition work. I usually do a good job, but
you are very good at transitioning. Every Friday night?
There we go. The Fight Foods vlog should be done shortly. And if you're watching this, editor, Drew, you should be editing and not watching this. But this should be up shortly. I said, send me the thumbnail so I can talk about it and get people prepped. So hopefully by the time the majority of these people watching this video, it is out. If you don't know what the hell this is, we film vlogs for the pay-per-views. Typically, we'll have some people over, cook some food, hang out, watch the fights upstairs. This one was a little chaotic because it happened to me my wife's birthday weekend. Another lady in the neighborhood, it was also her birthday weekend. So we just had a thing at the house. So it was very chaotic.
I was tricked and I was conned.
Bullshit. I told you from the jump what it was. Jacob came and left. Literally came and left. And actually, it was a wham bam, thank you ma'am situation. He showed up, cracked a few jokes. I was like, oh, Jakey boy's here. Disappeared into thin air. While we were trying to figure out how to open the gas tank, Jacob was gone. I looked around. I was like, wait, where is he? And I had to check the camera, and he scurried away like a little mouse. I caught it on camera. That is in the vlog. It has to be, because I sent the footage of you scurrying away on the camera, and I said include this. So that's got to be in the vlog. There might even be you know what's funny? When all the women were lined up taking pictures, basically standing in front of the fucking TV.
Basically.
I looked at Jacob and I was like, this is your worst nightmare. And then not 10 minutes later was he gone. So I get it, man. That's why I was like, yeah, I fucking get it. I get it. I do want to get back to just the boys hanging out in the media room. Those are my favorite times.
That's what I didn't. That's what I thought it was going to be. And you were like,
I told you exactly what was happening. There was no secrets whatsoever. Not. Bullshit. I said it on
something
this
like
stream.
It might be. It's like no. I said
you know everybody there. Tiff just texted me from the other room. She's listening to how loud I am. She goes, "It was my birthday party."
I thought it was gonna be a normal, just hanging out watching fights, and then
the next one will be. I promise you, UFC 311. We'll get back to cooking some.
That was a big trust game that was broken.
I never lied. I literally said exactly who was coming.
I didn't say you didn't. I never said you lied, but the lack of information provided, you knew.
I said we're doing bullshit.
You did not tell me anything about that.
I said on the stream we're doing hibachi, and I bet I check my text. I find it there too.
It wouldn't be 100%. You might have said it on the stream, but you didn't say anything about the text.
Oh,
I literally had no idea. Come on, you think I knew that, and I still would come over there? I had no idea that it was going to be like that.
I was surprised you said you were coming, and that's why I specifically.
No. So what? You think if I saw fucking hibachi and fucking it's a party, I'd be like, fuck no, I'm not coming.
I thought, why not? You know, he might want to become the last one of the year, Jakey boy.
All of a sudden, like people just start showing up, and then it's like the tables are set, and then there's a guy here to cook and stuff, and then I'm watching fights, and you're like, yeah, they're telling me to turn the TV down so they can play music, and I'm like, we're playing music, and then all the girls line up in front of the TV to take pictures in front of the fireplace, and I'm sitting here like. And I think you said something like, you're in the way, and they're like, we're not in the way. And I'm like, you're in the fucking way. Yeah, you're in the fucking way. What are you talking about? I'm trying to watch the fucking fights. I think it was during the Anders fight, too, because I had just lost Lock of the Week, and then Anders, like, early on, I was like, fuck, man. I was already in a shitty fucking mood, and I'm like, get the fuck out of the way. So I was like, yeah, get the fuck out of here.
It was actually the worst possible timing, too, because about 15 minutes later, it all calmed down, and we ended up just chilling outside, watching fights, having some drinks on the couch outside with the heaters on. So I get it. Hey, I get it. I like the good old-fashioned man hang, too. Boys Club in the media room. Become a premium member. We have all the tools, the picks, the bets, everything you could literally ever need. If there's a single thing that isn't on premium membership that you want, let us know. We just released a freaking app. Where's the notifications? Here it is. I don't know how to hide half of these. There we go. Here's some of the notifications. This person on Instagram. Oh my God, this app is incredible. Hats off to you. We have an app. It's in the iOS store. The App Store. Download the app. The app has everything the website has. Here's a look at the safety parlay. Hopefully the Tampa one hits. We have been crushing it. 8 of the last 9, 80% ROI on one single bet. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. $10 super chat. Canadian from Jay. Thanks, you guys. My wife can't argue with me for watching UFC late and crawling into bed at 2 a.m. because I whispered to her, I made $1.6 thousand.
Oh.
There you go. Congratulations on the wife and the money.
Up, man. I'm bricked up on the head out.
In those vlogs.
Oh.
I'll have to look it up. In those vlogs, we do a mail day. Here's the address. If
You
you
still
want
don't
to
know what
send
Duval
something.
is?
I don't know. I looked it up and nothing came up.
It's just Duval County in Jacksonville. It's just a popular county.
I saw people
Sorry.
mentioning Jacksonville, so.
Yeah, just Jacksonville's in Duval County. That's where he's from, Jacksonville. So it's
Jacksonville,
just a thing
Florida?
they do. Duval.
Good for
It's
them.
a very well-known county.
Well, here's the address if you want to send something for the vlog. We want picks, P.O. Box 406, Prosper, Texas, 75078. We only have we do have 6 fights on this main card, so let's go ahead and break them down. And opening up the UFC Tampa main card, we have the biggest favorite of the evening, Navajo Stirling. The fan base that this guy has is so ridiculously loyal, it's out of control. All I'm seeing all week, Navajo. So let's see if this kid lives up to the hype. He's only 5-0 in his career. He is undefeated, and 4 of those 5 wins are stoppages. He's taking on Tokkos. Plus 500 underdog in his second UFC fight.
He's not to do that.
Isn't that from a video game? Tokkos. That's from something. I'm not making it up. It's from something.
No.
It's not pizza. Different thing. Okay. He's 10-4 in his career. He's 3-2 in his last 5 years, coming off a loss in a short notice UFC debut against an absolute beast. And that's a theme we'll get back to later. Navajo Stirling, the consensus fan favorite. Everybody's so excited for this guy to make his UFC debut. Former kickboxer. He is early in his MMA career. And as a kickboxer, he does a lot of things you would expect him to do. Nice combinations, good kicks. He'll invest in the body early. He's not really a high volume guy, but he does a good job making the strikes that he does throw be meaningful. If he's inside the pocket, he's going to plumb that head and throw some knees. The question about Navajo is, what does the grappling look like? Can he defend takedowns? And unfortunately, I don't know. Dude only has 5 professional fights, and there wasn't a whole lot of grappling. Yeah, he defended a few takedowns in his last fight, but that was against another kickboxer. And the reason that question matters is he's fighting Tokkos. His real name is George. I don't know why. It's Tokkos, but his name is George. And George is a grappler at his core. He has expanded his skill set. And while he is a grappler, instead of forcing fights to the ground, he waits. He wants you to commit, and then he'll lower his level and charge forward. He's got very good control on top. He's not going to get too risky. Tons of pressure. Decent cardio, no real power, but straightforward game plan that seems to be working for him, certainly on the regional screen. Listen, Tuco is not great. He's got a little bit of an inflated record with a bunch of regional wins over nobodies, but he does have takedowns, and we still don't have the answer to, can Navajo Stirling defend takedowns? I'm going to pick Navajo. He's very clearly the better striker, the more dangerous of the two, but there's just a lot of questions. I couldn't imagine spending minus 700 money on a dude that only has 5 fights that we've never seen defend a takedown from somebody who knows how to shoot takedowns. I'm going to have to leave the fight alone. And we'll see if the hype is real. I need at least one real fight to decide. Jakey boy, what do you think?
Tuco Tuesdays.
There you go.
Here's how you know that Navajo is a good light heavyweight striker. And it matters in this matchup because obviously if he gets taken down, es no bueno. But if he keeps it on the feet, he should be absolutely fine. And the reason why it's going to stay on the feet is because he is not one of these big strikers that knocks people out, that throws heat 100% of the time. You see these people come in and they can be pretty fraudulent because they're just throwing heavy right hands or heavy left hands, or they got this big hook and they're just catching everybody with the big shots. Navajo is an experienced striker that throws off-speed shit. It's not 100 miles an hour every single time. He will throw feelers out there, and that's how you draw out the wrestling of a guy like Tuco. You pump it, the feints, the off-speed stuff, he commits to a shot, you fucking snipe him. That's what's going to happen. I like Navajo. I think he gets it done.
Yeah, I mean, we picked the same side. Would you think minus 700 is a little too risky? No, he's not proven yet.
I think he's got all the opportunity in the world to look minus 700 in this one.
I mean, he's certainly set up to do so. This is a tailor-made fight. They call me Cautious Ange, so I'm going to be cautious here and just
I think they call that a pussy.
All right. Well, Navajo Stirling, $9,600 in DraftKings Fantasy. If you think he absolutely blows through George, well, then he is very clearly worth that money. But to Jacob's point, he is not just a giant, big, huge power guy. And 20% of his fights have made their way to a decision. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I might spend it in a lineup or two, but I may also let the DraftKings Optimizer decide for me. You can check that out. It's included in premium membership. It's only freaking $10. You click a few buttons, it'll spit out some lineups for you. You also go to a different menu. Boom. There's the artificial intelligence picks. You go to a different menu. There's Jacob and I's bets. Go to a different menu. You can see Artem's picks next to the rest of ours. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, it's only $10 for an entire month.
Have you ever
heard the wolf cry by the blue horned moon?
Or ask a grinning bobcat why he grins. If you could paint with all the colors of the wind.
Listen, here. You know how people are always like, whoa, Angel's a genius. The fact he does math like this, it's crazy. I think people just think I'm a genius because people like this exist. I said 20% of Navajo's fights have been to a decision. 1 in 5 is 20%. Arsener thinks that 1 in 5 is 30%. That's problematic. What was your question before we move on?
Oh, because you were mentioning, you were talking about the website. You were talking about different menus in the. Have you ever got sexual pleasure when you were handed a menu at a restaurant?
What?
You heard me.
No.
Why was it not a no immediately? Because you
I
heard
just
the
had
question.
to make sure that's. I don't know if I did. That was crazy. What kind of question is that?
I think it's a relevant question. I think people would want to know. I mean, if it's. I don't know how
Is
bad
this
your
because I'm
addiction
fat
is.
and I love food?
You get excited when you get a menu handed to you. I just know how far it went.
I usually know what I'm going to eat.
Well, I would question that.
Are you the reason they have sneeze guards at the buffet? You fucking pervert. Get it? Next up, at UFC Tampa, we have Adrian Yanez taking on Daniel Marcos. Adrian Yanez, 17-5 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5 years, coming off that knockout win over Vinicius Salvador. Daniel Marcos, 16-0, undefeated in his career with a 50-50 split of knockouts and decisions. Daniel Marcos, pretty good striker. He's got good power. He's got good accuracy. He does a nice job stringing combinations together and marching forward. He'll throw 1-2s. He'll follow it up with a flying knee. He'll blast some elbows. His takedown defense is very solid at 87%. And he, as I mentioned, 50-50 split. 16 wins, 8 of them are knockouts, 8 of them are decisions. So you know that he has plenty of cardio and he's dangerous. He's coming off the destruction of Sexy Mexi, where he looked great 3 full rounds. He's taking on Adrian Yanez. Fun, technical striker, high striking IQ, fast hands, real power, solid chin. He can be a slow starter. If you look at the stats a little bit, he does lose more first rounds than he wins. But once he gets going, once he hits his rhythm, it's absolutely a show. He has 9 fights in the UFC, 5 fight of the night bonus, 6 stoppages. Great takedown defense at a literal 100%. 0 offensive takedowns so far in the UFC. And he shines in the technical exchanges because of that clean boxing. He is coming off that first round knockout win over a typical, pretty durable Vinicius Salvador. And Jakey Boy and I have been breaking down fights for a little while now. And when you break down fights, you say good things about fighters, you say bad things about fighters. You also develop some sort of candor with the fighters. Adrian Yanez joined our call-in show. Guy was great. Personable. Fun. Told me I was terrible for picking against him in the past. But what ends up happening when you interact with some people is you develop some sort of bias, whether you want to or not. Whether you think you're doing it or not, you develop a bias. And I'm saying all that because I am going to pick Adrian Yanez here, and maybe it's some subconscious bias that I am not aware of. But if I look at this matchup, Adrian Yanez is a very, very good clean boxer. Very good clean boxer. And if this ends up being a striking exchange, I think Adrian Yanez can beat Daniel Marcos with a punch. And I fully recognize that Daniel Marcos is undefeated, and that's impressive. And he made Sexy Mexi look dumb as hell. But we haven't seen Daniel Marcos fight another high-level striker yet. Adrian Yanez will probably be the best striker he's fought so far. So I'm going to roll the dice. Adrian Yanez is going to be the pick. And I do have a bet on him if you want to check that out. What do you think, Jakey Boy? We already know your pick, but go ahead and break us down.
Yeah, I am also biased. Adrian Yanez is my boy. That's my dude, right? Last time I was at the Apex for the Cameron Smotherman fight, which is his boy. Cameron won. Adrian came over, was all excited because I got the point deducted in that fight. You know what I mean? So they were all excited, and Adrian came over, gave me his hat. So am I picking another man because that man gave me his hat? Yeah, maybe, right? But also, there's history to this as well. And Adrian Yanez has always been, before we had this, whatever friendship, he's always been one of my favorite fighters. His boxing I talked about earlier. When you see clean boxing, it is fucking beautiful. And when this guy starts getting in that flow state, it is fucking incredible to watch Adrian Yanez fight. But I said on that interview, 3 or 4 months ago, I was kind of looking up. We were talking about who do you want next, and he was getting called out because I think Peyton Talbot called him out. And I was kind of looking at the rankings and stuff, and I went, I know who Adrian Yanez can beat, who it would be a great win for him. He would be the underdog, and he would be able to take that O. I pointed out Daniel Marcos. On that show, I told Adrian, I said, I got a guy for you, Daniel fucking Marcos. That's who you should fight next because I think you can beat him. It'd be a big moment. He said, I love that fight. That would be a great fight. I know that Daniel Marcos is a good striker. People fucking forget how good Adrian Yanez is and how powerful this guy is and sharp with his power. He is accurate. He is powerful. Does he have some defensive lapses sometimes? Yeah. He fought Jonathan Martinez. He got his legs blown out. Every single fucking person that's fought Jonathan Martinez has got their legs blown out except for Jose Aldo, who nobody can fucking blow his legs out because he blows everyone's legs out as well. We just saw that with fucking Marcus McGee. He was so you kind of give that, okay, he got his leg blown, it is what it is. Against Rob Font, if you watch that Rob Font fight again, the first 2 minutes of that fight, Yanez was fucking that dude up. I mean, he was popping the jab out there. Rogan and DC were oohing and on about the accuracy and the speed of Adrian Yanez. The way he can step off stuff, the back step, and then right back in it. His hands are faster than anybody. I love this matchup for him because I think he can match the speed with more precision and more power. And a guy, Daniel Marcos, who I don't think is crazy dangerous and is a little bit overrated. He was my lock of the week before, Daniel Marcos. I know Daniel Marcos. And I like this matchup for Adrian Yanez. And when you see Adrian Yanez do the little three-step little hop, boom, 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 when he's chasing somebody against the fence, he's about to win that fucking fight. So the second you see him get in that flow state and somebody's chasing, he's chasing, pop, pop, pop into him when their back is against the fence, woo! It's about to be a fucking show. Get your fucking popcorn. Adrian Yanez is knocking this dude out. Lock of the week.
Look, I'm rooting for the lock, man. Your lock of the week has had an incredible year. If you didn't see Jacob's lock of the week video, not only is it obviously the normal, incredible highlight of the lock of the week and the breakdown of who, Jacob also took the time to go through every lock of the week he's ever had, or at least every tracked one he's ever had. So check out that video. It's a little longer than the normal lock of the week videos.
Oh, yeah. If you guys are listening, if you guys are used to, I actually kind of forgot I even uploaded that video. If you guys are, lock of the week video went up, and if you guys are interested, because a lot of people are like, what about this lock of the week, or who was the best, or what was the first one, and this and that. I go through the entire history. It's about a 20-minute video, and about 15 of it is just kind of going through the lock of the week history from when it started. So
there you go. Check that out. We're both on the Yanez side. I do have a bet on him. If you want to check out that bet and all the other bets, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It's freaking $10. $10. What an absolute joke. We're never going to touch that price point. We just released an app, which was not free, and we're still never going to touch that price point because all we care about is delivering the best possible service at the best possible price for you all. Almost 4,400 of you are premium members. Let's get that up to, God knows what number. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Couple of Troopers Chatterooskies. I don't know if I mentioned this one yet or not, so I'm going to do it again because it'd be a shame to miss out. The Prophet, $20, said, you guys are printing money for the premium members, and I am here for it. Thank you very much for that. And then Riff Raff, is a tremendous supporter. Jacob does the thing for you. I don't know what the hell he's doing right now. There it is. WWP has been killing. Go through your change, scrape up $10, and buy yourself a month's worth. Jacob, where's the UFC jacket I sent you? Why the fuck I send you shit? I kid. Just give me a tiptoe wing in my Jordans. Love the app, Ange. Riff Raff, we appreciate you. Riff Raff did send, go check out the last vlog, I believe. Sent some really nice warm-up jackets for us. Oh, I couldn't see what the hell you were doing. So thank you very much for all the support, Riff Raff, and obviously the incredible donation. We appreciate you. Next up, at UFC Tampa, we have an old versus a young. We have a changing of the guard. And Dustin Jacoby's not that old, and I'm actually a big fan of Dustin Jacoby's, but this certainly feels like the UFC trying to rebuild Vitor Petrino because he kind of had a little bit of a falter in his last fight when he was submitted very, very quickly by Anthony Smith. Vitor Petrino, 11-1 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. And I mentioned he's coming off that first ever loss of his career, taking on Dustin Jacoby, 19-9 in his career. An unfortunate 1-4 in his last 5. He is coming off that knockout loss to Dominic Reyes. Dustin Jacoby was a high-level kickboxer. During that kickboxing stint, he was ranked number 2 in the world. He does a good job keeping things technical. He does a good job working your legs. He does a good job being technically sound while having some good power and some good volume. He has a 60% takedown defense, but that number is understated. He's got solid takedown defense, does a good job making you pay on the way in. He is coming off that unfortunate knockout loss to Dominic Reyes, which has confirmed that his chin may not be what it once was. He's taking on Vitor Petrino. This guy is an absolute monster. He is still a work in progress. He's got a big boy left hook. He's a dangerous striker. He is evolving into a grappler. He has 16 takedowns in 5 fights. His takedown defense is just okay, but he does a nice job working his way back up and avoiding danger. He is still very green. He is evolving as a fighter, and he is learning more and more every time he steps in the cage. The problem for a lot of people is he does need to button some things up. He's coming off that submission loss to Anthony Smith where he had a takedown after getting his legs blasted and then was guillotined. My issue with that wasn't, fraud check, because I do think most people use the term fraud check wrong. I do not think you're a fraud if you lose to somebody as accomplished as Anthony Smith the way he lost. Now, if Anthony Smith walked him down and beat him bell to bell in every aspect of MMA, then maybe you can call him a fraud. When one of the Bonfim brothers absolutely got tooled around, okay, I could kind of see that. But that's not what happened with Vitor. His legs got beat up, so he made the correct decision to say, let me shoot a takedown here, and he left his neck out, and he got sucked up. So that is what it is. My bigger issue is not the loss. My bigger issue is he didn't seem to give a shit. And maybe that was just him in the moment in Brazil being like, trying to laugh it off. And hopefully it fueled something in the gym after the fight because he literally did not seem to care at all. And that is a problem. I am going to pick Vitor Petrino here. He is big, strong, fast, athletic. He has cardio. He hits hard as hell. Dustin's chin seems to have a couple of cracks in it. So I got to go with Vitor Petrino here. But a Dustin Jacoby of old with the good takedown defense and the very good striking could sneak something out. I just think times are changing. Vitor Petrino is going to be the pick here, but I really, really hope he's not just going to smile his way through this without a care in the world. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I've kind of been going back and forth about this fight because I I was the same way. I saw that reaction. I'm like, oh, this guy's a fucking loser. Fuck this guy. You have all these fucking physical abilities in the fucking world. You look like one of the most beautiful men I've ever seen in my life. Vitor Petrino. You go in there, lay an egg, and you just think it's funny. And it's like, fuck you, man. You know, people are just killing themselves with competitiveness that don't have fucking 10% of the talent you were given. And you're just in there fucking laughing and giggling after you just lost in front of your home fans. And I was like, you know what? He probably was just kind of embarrassed. And a lot of times when you're embarrassed, you kind of like, oh, shit. Like, yeah, you know, it could have been more of an embarrassment thing. But still, I mean, at the end of the day, I want somebody that's fucking pissed about that, man. Like, even like Clay Guida, like when he got choked out, it's like he's pissed. He gets up, he's like, fuck, man. And he's like fucking, he was supposed to be a plus 900 dog, whatever it was. This guy, Vitor Petrino, was a big favorite, came in and lost. And it's like, fucking give a shit. So, I believe that this fight is going to be exactly like the Alonzo Meadowfield fight. And the reason why Dustin Jacoby lost that fight was because it was touch, drop or stunned, and then he ended up losing rounds because of that. And against a guy like Vitor Petrino, who isn't discouraged, really. I mean, you saw with the leg kicks, he shot the takedown, but against a guy like Dustin Jacoby, I don't think it's going to be as dangerous with Anthony Smith, even though they are teammates. So maybe there's some familiarity. They were able to share something, whatever it was, but it was a pretty short fight, so I don't think anything was like crazy like that's going to happen. But I think Dustin's probably going to try and just touch and frustrate this guy, and I think there's a game plan to that. Wait for Vitor to make the mistake, but Vitor's a guy that stays in your face, and if he lands that shot, you know, Dustin Jacoby's chin you saw start cracking, then it did get cracked. That was kind of a bad knockout as well, so I got to go with the big Brazilian here, my Brazilian brother Vitor, but I fucking hate the guy, man.
Yeah, you hated Loopy for a while too, for same type reaction. Bad
You know the good thing, and I think he's married though. But the good thing about Amanda not being on this card anymore, I saw her fight was announced on this card. Like, I literally think it was like an hour later. I literally think it was like an hour later. They're like, oh, also Vitor Petrino's on this card. Damn it. No, the most beautiful man I've ever seen. You're going to have Amanda walking around in the back with the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my life, Vitor Petrino. I can't have that. So at least that's the only positive that came out of that situation. But
only Uggos at UFC Vegas 101. So
we need more fucking that was your chance to
Motobeck oral buys.
No, it was your chance to do who's the guy you said looked like me earlier in the card?
Oh, Davey Grant.
Yeah, we need more Davey Grants, right?
We're both on the same side here. I do think it can be interesting because Vitor Petrino, plenty of power, plenty of takedowns, but he's not a killer, right? He'll find his spots, but he's not a killer, right? He's athletic. He's working through things, but he doesn't come out and bite down his mouthpiece like, I am going to finish you.
He can't eat a shot. I mean, he'll eat a shot and just, he does like the...
Yeah.
Did you see that meme with Kai, too? Of literally Kai threw like a leaping fucking all of his weight into it, left hand, boom, right on the button on Pantoja, right around the guard, just fucking, he literally is like on one foot in the screenshot as it's landing, all the power, and the next screenshot is Pantoja standing there like this. And it's like when you landed everything you had, and and Pantoja literally went like this, like that was it. Like it's like, oh, you're fucked now.
Pantoja could take a shot, man. He ate those wild Kaya Sakura knees.
Vitor literally does the same thing. Yeah. I mean, he takes 205ers and he literally will just go like, okay.
Yeah. Well, we're both on the same side here, and if you want to check out the picks, the bets, the tools, and see if the artificial intelligence is on our side, see if Artem is on this side as well, you can do so now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, it is only $10 for an entire month. Couple of super Chatterooskies, $9.99 from Nico Pico. Dan, this jig right here lost to a thing named Ants. Oh, wait. Oh, hold on. They're coming for my family. Jacob, this is for you, Jacob, from We Want Pick Them. Thank you. What is happening? This is a mess. I don't know what I'm reading here.
That's the Anthony Smith. They was coming for my family. But
I think this is a combination of the Anthony Smith, he's coming for my family, and then the whole Yusuf Zalal shout out. Jacob, we want pick him. I think that's what this is. Thank you for the $9.99, Nico Pico. Next time, proofread. Then Patrick Watson, $1.99. I don't get why Jacoby is such a big underdog. I think it's the chinniness, Patrick, but I agree he's a very, 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 very good fighter. But I do think it's the chinniness on that side of the house. Next up, at UFC Tampa, we have Manel Kape taking on Bruno Silva. This could be a very fun fight, or it could be a staring contest. Manel Kape, 19-7 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that staring contest with Makayev. He's taking on Bruno Silva, 14-5 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5, riding a 4-fight win streak. Manel Kape's a very good fighter. He actually beat Kaya Sakura over in, not ONE FC, what the hell was that? Risen. He's a very fast, explosive striker. He has no issues chasing knockouts. He's a southpaw, good pressure. He bounces in and out of range really well. Decent wrestler when he needs to be. He'll close that distance and he'll make something happen. He's really fun to watch. Occasionally, he'll have some fight IQ blips or just do stuff that doesn't really help him win a fight. And he is coming off of the Muhammad Makayev loss where they basically were just staring at each other. Personally, I think that was Manel Kape being afraid to get taken down, so he didn't want to overcommit to anything. He's taking on Bruno Silva. Well-rounded guy, good power, strong wrestling, nasty submissions. Literally good everywhere. He's not clean, he's not technical, but he's very tough. He likes to make fights ugly. He started his UFC career with a bit of a skid. Then he managed to string together a couple of knockouts, had a pretty long layoff, and since that layoff, he's looked good. A submission win over Tyson Nam, more recently a knockout win over Cody Durden. Bruno Silva is good. I like Bruno Silva. But I think Manel Kape is just better. I think it's literally that simple. Bruno is a busier guy. Manel Kape's a little cleaner. Manel Kape has some decent power. Bruno has some decent power. I think the footwork and the technique of Manel Kape is going to be the difference here. He is going to be the pick. And this is likely a decision because of the toughness of Bruno Silva. But I am going to pick Manel Kape, and I'm pretty confident in that. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy breakdown. I think Manel Kape is the better fighter, kind of wherever it goes. Maybe if he gets like Bruno on his back, he might struggle there, but I think he's going to be fine even if he finds himself in a bad situation. Bruno does have power, and you saw Kape, he's been staggered before, so it's not out of the realm of possibility, and I think even Kape is a fucking hard guy to fucking trust. He is a hard guy to fucking trust. And I've tried to fade him. He is like one of my guys. Yeah, you talked about Battle for You and whoever it was, the other fighter. But Manel Kape is like my anti-whatever that is. Like I pick, every time I pick him, he loses. Every time I pick against him, he fucking wins. I'm picking him. In this fight versus Bruno Silva, he should be the better fighter, but I don't know how anybody can trust a guy like Manel Kape, especially at like a minus 300, minus 400 price point. So he should win, but
yeah, I think he gets it done. I know you even were talking some shit to me looking at talking about his last fight. Oh, he didn't do anything in that. He only landed 20 strikes.
He had a fucking personal issue with the guy getting in fights backstage, lands 20 significant strikes. It's like, all right, well, fucking.
I think he was just terrified of getting taken down. So he didn't want to commit to anything because of what was coming back that way. And I don't think that's going to be the case in this fight. I hope that's not the case in this fight. Manel Kape, my pick. Manel Kape, Jacob's picks. Not spending that $9,200 in DraftKings Fantasy because I don't think he's going to finish Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva's too soft. Manel Kape is not going to be worth that $9,200 in a what should be a pretty straightforward decision win. But if you do want to check out who will be worth that money, who you should put in your DraftKings fantasy lineup, go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member, and unlock every single pick tool and bet that we have. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. Next up, at UFC Tampa, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have Cub Swanson taking on Billy Quarantillo. Is Cub Swanson still your favorite fighter?
Always.
There you go. Cub Swanson, Jakey Boy's favorite fighter, 29-14, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off that close decision with Andre Fili. He's taking on Billy Quarantillo, 18-6 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He is alternating wins and losses. Cub Swanson, tried and true legend. Tried and true legend. Similar to the breakdown I did for Michael Johnson, similar to the breakdown we did for Clay Guida last week. He is a dying breed of fighters that are good at all the things and insanely tough. He's a legend. He's been a legend for a very long time. He's a creative striker. He's got very, very high fight IQ. He's been very well trained for a long time. He's a ton of fun to watch. He's definitely old. He's definitely slow, but he's still very tough. You don't get to legend status without being diverse. So he can wrestle. He can strike. He can do everything, and he can do it all well. He's the better all-around fighter in pretty much every single matchup that he's in. He is coming off that close loss to Andre Fili. He's taking on Billy Quarantillo. Billy Quarantillo is a good grappler with solid striking and pretty good aggression. His striking is not technical, but his offense is effective. He lands almost 8 significant strikes per minute. Ultimately, Billy's got that weird karate-style striking. Fantastic BJJ. He only has a 23% takedown accuracy, but he does have 10 takedowns in 11 fights, and he is coming off that submission loss to the 2.0 version of Yusuf Zalal. This is a situation, I mentioned this earlier with one of the lady fights, where my pick and my bet might be two different things. I'm probably going to bet on Cub Swanson here if I can find that plus 3.5 bet. But the pick is going to be Billy Q. I think he's going to be a little too fast. I think that in and out footwork might suit him pretty well here, and he could potentially get a takedown. So Billy Q is going to be the pick. With that being said, I'm not going to bet on Billy Quarantillo, certainly not at favorite money. And I don't ever bet on underdogs just because they're a dog and it's plus money. What I do, however, is try to find winning bets. And I think this is a close enough fight. I think Cub Swanson can absolutely win one single round. And as soon as that plus 3.5 is available, which it might be as I'm speaking right now, I'm going to jump on it because I think Cub Swanson can win a round. Even in that loss to Andre Fili, he didn't look terrible. The Hakeem Dawodu fight, all right, they probably didn't win that fight. But the reality is Cub Swanson still has a little bit juice left. And Billy Quarantillo is good. He's fast. He's mobile. Can be dangerous. But I think Cub Swanson can survive, maybe sneak out a single round. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, as Angelo alluded, Cubby is my dude. He's my all-time favorite fighter. I was there at 303 in his last fight. I thought he fucking won that fight. I think a lot of people thought he won that fight. Looked good. You know, he's still got that really clean box. He can win the fight anywhere. He can't get taken down, but he's got enough jiu-jitsu to be able to stay safe. You know, Cub's my guy. It's probably a biased pick, but I think he's the faster, cleaner boxer, and should be a good fight. It's a kind of a random co-main event, but for a live crowd, Cub fights are always usually pretty entertaining. Both these guys are tough dudes, and outside of a weird injury, this should be a good show, and I think Cub dogs it out. I think he's due for something like this.
Well, his karma has been reset because he did not beat Hakeem Dawodu, but people think he did beat Andre Fili. So that karma washed itself out. So now he's coming into this fight clean, no weird karma hanging over him, and he can do what he does. So I definitely think he can win, which is why I like that plus 3.5. All he needs is a round out of him. And if he gets the striking going, looks pretty good. I don't think Billy Q's going to stop him. Cub's a durable guy, so we'll be rooting for that. I also think this fight goes to a decision. You can get some decent odds on that. And I do have a bet on this fight you can check out now. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, you can unlock all of those picks and bets. What does this say? Thanks for the safety parlay last week, Angelo. Feels like we didn't deserve it with Gone. But I'm in solidarity. I've donated my winnings. Oh, okay. All right. Jesus. To AIDS. Yeah, listen. Gone did not win that fight, but we've also been on the wrong end.
He won the fight.
Jacob's not even doing this for a bit. He's not
I
even doing it
picked
for a
against him, and he is fucking. I hate Gone. I fucking hate Gone. But he won the first 2 rounds.
This is not a bit. Jacob was being 100% serious.
I texted you during the fight. I was like,
did.
oh, I was like, Gone looks like shit, and he's a fucking pussy. But he won the first 2 rounds. He fucking pulled that shit out.
Yeah, I personally disagree, but I'll take it. And we've been screwed many, many times. So being on the right side of a screw job is fine by me.
I thought that he was up to nothing. I checked the live odds. They were plus whatever they was. I shared my ticket in the Discord, but I put $400 on to win $600. That's how confident I was. I texted Angelo, Gone's up to nothing. I knew that visually the judges were going to give those first 2 rounds to Gone, and I fucking put my money where my mouth is. I fucking hate Gone, and I put $400, win $600 live bet after the second round.
There you go. There you go. Next up, at UFC Tampa, we have the very interesting main event of the evening. We have Colby Covington stepping up on kind of short notice, taking on Joaquin Buckley. Joaquin Buckley was already on this card. He was supposed to fight Ian Gary. They did some shuffling. And Colby Covington, out of absolute nowhere, he wasn't rumored to fight anybody. He wasn't booked anywhere. Just whoop, popped up went from fighting in a main event on a pay-per-view for a fight night main event. But he is in Florida. I'm sure they paid him handsomely, and I'm sure he thinks he can win this fight. So we have Colby Covington at 17-4, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off that title loss to Leon Edwards, taking on Joaquin Buckley, 20-6, 5-0 in his last 5, looking for his first main event win and looking pretty good at his new weight class. The last version of Colby Covington, the one that fought Leon Edwards, and the version before that are two completely different human beings. So the game that Jacob, myself, and everybody else has to play this week is, which Colby Covington are we going to get? Is the version that fought Leon, is that him now? Is that him? He moved to a new gym. His skills fell off. He's surrounded by yes men. And he's just old and slow now. Is that Colby? Or is it true? Oh, he had a foot injury and it was just a weird training camp. He's the guy that fought Kamaru Usman for the belt. That's the Colby. And that's a game we have to play. If it is the original version of Colby Covington, the one that was in every single fight of his except the Leon fight, then we get a guy who's going to come forward with insane volume, set an incredible pace, never breathe heavy, and just work his ass off bell to bell. If we get the last version, we're going to get a guy that does nothing for 4 rounds and finally shoots a takedown in the 5th. Hesitant, slow, afraid to commit to anything. And he's taking on Joaquin Buckley, welterweight Joaquin Buckley. Welterweight Joaquin Buckley has looked absolutely fantastic. He's a powerful striker, plenty of movement. He's got good forward pressure. He cuts angles really, really well, and he doesn't headhunt as much as he used to. So that has freed him up to make things happen. He's looked absolutely incredible at his new weight class. He just beat Wonderboy in a fight that he was losing. Was having trouble finding the range, struggling working in and out, but he stuck with it. He didn't quit on himself. He kept coming forward. He kept bombing away and ultimately found that spot. This fight is very hard to break down because of the inconsistencies with Colby. And this sport, more than any other sport I have ever seen.
Colby. It's Colby.
No, the L's silent. Colby Covington. Colby Covington. Colby is hard to break down here because you just don't know which version you're going to get. And this is the most what have you done for me lately sport that exists. You come off one bad performance and you're a washed up loser. If you look great, you're the next big thing. And so it's very hard to wade through what's bullshit because he had a bad performance versus what is, he's 36 years old, and he's not at a very good gym right now, so it is what it is, and that's what's tricky. I personally am going to pick Joaquin Buckley. I think I am going to avoid this fight, though. I don't think I'm going to bet on this fight. I think Buckley has looked great. I've been a huge advocate of his at welterweight, and I think he can get this done as well, but if Colby wants to come forward, shoot a million takedowns, stay in Joaquin's face, avoid any power because he's closed that distance and he's in the pocket, he, of course, could sneak out a win here. I'm looking forward to this fight. I think it's a good fight. I do think it's a bit of a changing of the guard, and Colby at 36, not an American top team anymore, just dealing with the pressure of being one of the most hated guys in the sport. I think that's all weighing on him. I think he's just a shell of himself now at this point, and Joaquin's going to get it done, but I can't put my money anywhere near that. What do you think, Jakey boy? Whoops.
Yeah, I've been a very vocal Buckley hater. Not as a person, right? When I say I hate a fighter, it's usually their style, or I think they're kind of overrated. And Buckley's kind of reckless style was always kind of just like, I just didn't love it for longevity. Like if I'm picking a fighter, I want them to be tactical, I want them to be whatever. And his wild style just kind of keeps fucking paying off. And I said after that Wonderboy fight, I'm never going to doubt this guy again. Flip to Colby. I was Colby's biggest fan. I had him as my lock of the week against Leon Edwards because I knew who Leon was, and we saw it with Bilal. And I'm looking at Colby like, dude, that's all you had to do. You just have to pressure this guy. What do you do? Why were you not pressuring this guy? Oh, my foot. I hurt my foot in the first round. The first kick, my foot. That would make sense if the rest of the fight went the way the rest of the fight was. But what happened in the fucking 5th round. You got the takedown, and you got all the control. So why the fuck weren't you doing that in the 1st round? Oh, my foot. Well, guess what? You did it in the fucking 5th round, asshole. Why the fuck couldn't you man up? You want to talk about you're this big, bad competitor, and you're Chaos Covington running people against the fence and taking them down, and taking them down, and taking them down. Oh, my foot hurts, and then you become a fucking pussy and freeze in front of everybody? I'm not trusting anybody that acts like that, and then you act like you win the fight. Oh, you play the fucking, oh, that fucking fake personality you have is starting to ooze into your real personality, and you have lost who you were, a real fucking competitor, and you're gonna get fucking smoked, knocked out, and retired by Joaquin Buckley in this fucking fight.
All right, Jacob, very passionate breakdown. I agree with that frustration watching the Kobe fight when he fought Leon, because it was there. There's nothing worse. That was the easiest. He's dreamed of being the UFC champion. And I said he is going to do nothing. He will make this as boring as possible to win. All he wants to do is win that fucking belt. And you saw all you have to do with Leon is just fucking pressure the guy against the fence, drag him to the ground. I could not believe he didn't win that fight. That's why I'm so high on Bilal, because I was like, well, fucking, I know Bilal will do it. Yeah, he'll stick to a game plan. Well, and what is funny is he did it. Like, he did it in the 5th round. Where was that? Where was that before?
Oh, so my foot. Oh, well.
That foot didn't hurt in the 5th. But anybody leaning on the foot argument, I've seen a lot of that stuff. This is a man whose jaw was broken against Kamaru Usman. His jaw was broken.
I don't think it was actually broken.
Didn't they have x-rays of a broken jaw?
I don't know. I can't remember. I don't think it was actually broken. That was like
my memory is telling me his jaw was broken, and he didn't quit. He continued the fight.
He literally froze up in the moment. I'm sure he did hurt his foot, and then he snapped the kick. He heard it, and he thought, "Oh shit!" and he fucking froze. Yeah,
I get it, man. I get it. We are both on the Joaquin Buckley side. Do you have any bets on this?
Pace.
Do you have any Buckley bets?
Doesn't like the pace. Doesn't like the pace.
Are you betting on this fight?
That's a Jordan, who by the way, happy birthday. Can we get happy birthday, Jordan? My friend that goes to Vegas with me all the time to all these fights and stuff. You guys have seen me in vlogs and stuff before. That's my boy. Happy birthday, Jordan, in the fucking chat. But one of the funniest parts as I'm watching clips back as I'm making vlogs and stuff was when we were at the Apex. Obviously, you can hear whatever we're saying in the front row. He was doing the hot dog thing or whatever, but he said it like kind of under his breath to the fight, but you can still hear it, and he just doubles down. So he's watching the fight's going on, and nobody's saying anything. He goes, doesn't like the pace. Doesn't like the pace! And it was just so funny, the change in levels, because it's so quiet in there. You could hear him the first time. Like, everyone can hear the first. He's like, doesn't like the pace. Doesn't like the pace.
Just insisted on getting that out there.
So funny.
You haven't answered my question. Do you have any bets on this fight?
Yeah, I bet Buckley as soon as the fight was announced and the odds dropped.
There you go. If you want to check out the rest of his bets and mine, including the tools and the artificial intelligence, you can do so now. It's $10 a freaking month. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top, and maybe you can achieve results like these. Last 14 cars have been...
You didn't tell Jordan happy birthday. Still mad about him.
It's not his birthday.
It literally is his birthday. But
swear to God?
Swear to God, yeah.
Say, I swear to God, it's Jordan Burgard's birthday.
I swear on my mother. I swear on anything you want me to swear on. It's his birthday today.
All right, then happy birthday, Jordan. I thought this was
you fucking
Shit. Well, that's not good for your mother.
Hold on, my phone's ringing.
Somebody better check the brakes on that wheelchair because that's flying down a hill, bud.
No, it's his birthday. But you didn't wish him happy birthday. I didn't know if you were still mad about him stealing candy.
He did steal candy. This motherfucker came to my house, peak COVID, no less. Snuck in the house and then waited till I had to take a leak to snatch some candy out of the media room.
And I think it literally was like...
moved the boxes of candy forward.
Yeah, and I think it literally was like the little, like, oh, you're in the fridge as a kid, and I'm sure you can relate to this, Angelo. And then you hear, like, the footsteps of your parents, and it's like the scurry away, like, tee-tee-tee-tee-tee-tee. It literally, like, he heard you coming, like, dum, dum, dum. It's like, oh, God, tee-tee-tee-tee-tee, to the couch with this little fucking... And then he, like, hit it, like, right here. He's like, you know... Good fight, huh, Jordan?
Which is ridiculous because like I'm a mean asshole. Like not in real life.
I think earlier you were like, "Does anybody want to eat candy?" No.
Yeah, dude, I'm very generous. I'm very generous.
Well,
at
not
the house.
anymore. You used to be. You changed.
You know, it's funny. So obviously you were here Saturday. You saw how many children were here. Dude, those little sons of bitches probably ate 38 boxes of candy. I went up there to clean Sunday morning, and it was bad. Just so they're just free
Isn't it
reign.
crazy that here in like 20 years, 30 years maybe, when they're getting legs or arms amputated, it's because of that night. Just the diabetic amputations.
journey they were put on. Dude, there was candy because there's like 16 kids. I don't want to say unsupervised because like people would check on them and stuff like that. They'd come down and hang out too. But there was 16 kids in a room, hanging out upstairs, and one of the rooms just has shelves of candy. They fucking went nuts. I got to figure out a better way because I'm not doing that.
Are you gonna put your candy on lock and key, Angela?
I have to figure something out. Because it was like, dude, it's not just one. And honestly, the boys are worse than the girls. Boys don't listen for shit. I have 2 girls. I only know girls. Girls listen. And they get a little whatever. They're like nasty.
Wait, you told the kids don't eat the candy and they ate all the candy?
No. I didn't tell them that. I didn't tell them anything. We didn't address the candy. So they just went.
Just fucking tell them don't eat it. That's what you tell me now. Every time I get up.
No.
I give a little,
Not the top shelf, bottom candy only. You could only have the leftover Halloween and the
Why do you
Easter
have so
candy.
much candy and little kids at your house?
Well, I have children, and we have friends with children, and I have a media room with candy in it. Watch a vlog.
That is funny to clip out. I had 12 little kids in this room. They were just eating all the candy.
Yeah, in my van.
There was 50 boxes of candy and 12 little kids in a random room in Angelo's house.
16 kids.
Yeah, you guys wonder why. You guys know how, the story of the Diddy parties and some celebrities like left when that started happening? I left Angelo's house early. Ask yourself why. All right, he's talking about kids in a room with candy and stuff. I was like, some people went to the Diddy parties, saw one room, and fucking left. They fucking skedaddled out of there. And some people stayed. Saturday night, I fucking left.
Yeah, because it was too social of a social setting for you. You're like, no, I'm not. Which I get. That's why I didn't give you a hard time. You did scurry. A goodbye would have been nice. Like, hey, not my scene.
No, I wouldn't. No, because it would have been and then Tiffany would have been like, on my birthday, on my birthday. No, go ahead. I'm making a whole scene, and then I would fucking
for sure.
Drove my car into a fucking cement fucking barrier on the way home.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that. She would have. I would have played it cool. I would have been like, I get it, man. I even said to you.
It was funny when they're like, do a shot. I'm like, no. They're like, oh, come on. I'm like, fucking, I'm not doing it. I tell you right now. I'm not fucking doing it. And the second you fucking, every time it's like you're just driving the stake and more. Just, I'm not doing it. Like, if you were to say, like, just ask me once and they were like, okay. And then I see people do it. All right. Give me this. But if you're like, oh, come on. It's like, whoops. Nope.
Now I'm
whoops.
No, you definitely dig in. You definitely are I know.
The timing of this doesn't feel good for me.
She's coming for you. I don't know what that's
beating
about.
the dog instead. Taking it out on the dog.
No, she shut it off so she
shake a leg, woman.
Listen, we're doing well. The tools are amazing. Here's some of the tools. Here's a random kid from New Zealand that doesn't brush his hair for pictures. And here's a robot that picks fights with remarkable accuracy. Every single one of these things is only $10 for an entire month. WeWantPicks.com. Any words for the peeps?
No, but I will be at UFC Tampa. If you guys haven't liked the video, like the video right meow. I want to thank you guys again. This is the last time we're doing this until 2025. Obviously, we got to see if contracts are renewed and stuff like that. So we'll see who's on the panel and who the company puts together. But I hope to stay. Hopefully, we can work out the numbers and stuff like that. So we'll see if we're around for 2025. But 2024 was all joking aside, it's been a fucking amazing year. I know Angelo feels the same way. We appreciate each and every one of you. I know a lot of you are not premium members, and that's okay too. You know, obviously some people just don't have the means or whatever, and you guys still listen, you still like the videos, you still comment, show up for the live stream and stuff too. So I know we give a hard time about being a premium member, but we put a lot of fucking work in this, and I put a fucking ton of work in this, and I don't even put even close to as much work as Angelo and web guy Josh do. I mean, they fucking behind the scenes are doing stuff fucking constantly. So when I'm just like sitting here working on a Lock of the Week video, they got fucking 10 things going on. So I want to thank Angelo for everything he does to getting us to where they are. Web guy Josh as well is one of the most underappreciated people definitely in this whole system. People don't really know that he's there, and he does more than me. So we appreciate you guys, and you know, it's been good 2024, and hopefully 2025 is even more the same.
Well, I appreciate that. 2024 has been great, and we released an app. And Josh, the web guy, is basically solely responsible for pushing that app out. So check out the app in the Apple App Store. And I agree with Jacob. 2024 was crazy because it felt like that's when we actually, like, we're very fortunate that we've had consistent growth. We don't have like the wild explosive growth, and that's a good thing.
Like one viral moment.
Correct.
And then people show up and then realize, why am I here?
Correct. Like the consistent growth is far more important than the wild explosive growth. And I've talked about it a million times. A lot of people blew up during COVID, and now that life is back to normal, their views are in the fucking toilet. We have 32,000 subscribers, and our views are astonishing. That's because every single one of you that actually clicked the subscribe button is here for real, and you're actually here. You enjoy the show, and it wasn't, like Jacob said, a random viral moment. So yes, not everybody. We don't have 32,000 premium members. If we did, I'd have a much nicer backdrop. I'll tell you that much. But
being fucking Brazil already.
But, you know, frankly, every single view matters. This is a vehicle for us to entertain and make content, and then expand the content, and then sell the premium, do all the things. So every view, every like, every comment, all of it is honestly, equally important.
It's me, you know, I've always said this from the beginning. It's like the poking the fun is like, oh, Jacob just wants to be famous, or yeah, fucking yeah. If I become a someone, have you seen what happens when you're a known person? Have you seen the women that you attract? Oh, they're just gonna chase you. I don't give a fuck what they. I want to. Come on, here we go. You want to be on my joint checking account? Sign me up. Let's fucking go. I want to be that guy. Honestly, last time I went to the Apex, there was like 8 or 9 of you that came up. I was taking pictures with families and stuff. It's like, it's fucking awesome. So I'll be at UFC Tampa. So if you see me, fucking say hello, take a picture, make a fucking scene about it, especially if you see some hot girls around, be like, whoa, there he is. And I'll be like, oh. So this whole thing is pretty awesome. And I'm like I said, if you see me in Tampa, I'm a fucking, what you see is what you get. I'm no different in person than especially when I'm drinking. So say hi, and you know, maybe we can, you know, I'll be in a suite, so maybe we can, some of you
okay. All right. Well, thank you all very much. Genuinely appreciate everything. And this isn't a goodbye. We're going to be live pretty much every week the whole time anyway, just not doing fight breakdans. I will be doing my Sunday quick picks. Then fuck you, I'll do it alone.
I'll like do it alone. For me.
All right.
Honestly, well, the break, I really don't have anything else.
Dude, I hate the break. I hate it. That's why I do the quick picks, because I can't not do this. I don't know how to not do it. Anyway, nope. I guess we're waiting. So that is something you can count on for me. For example, UFC Vegas 101. Main events, Mackenzie Dern and Amanda Hebos. I am doing that breakdown right now. That will be released Sunday. Whoa, Indy. Hi, Indy. No, she can't hear me. A little bit of gray. Dude, she's still super not gray. Just a touch of gray on the chin.
She still acts like a puppy.
I was going to say, dude, that's crazy. Just a touch of gray. Scout's only. Like, Scout doesn't have any other colors now. He's just fucking gray bowling ball.
Almost 10 years old now.
She looks fucking phenomenal for 10. That's crazy. All right, well, we appreciate every last one of you. And still a lot of videos left to do this week. See ya.